Wednesday. I know the music sucks, but that's what StreamYard provides us with until I can get an intro, right? Now I don't care about an intro. You don't hear the music, right? Right? Am I right? How's everybody doing? Good to see you in the room. Nice and early. Tonight's conversation is going to be interesting. First and foremost, welcome to another episode on the block of Jen. I'm your host, Jen. Okay, welcome on the block of Jen on Instagram, on the block of Jen on YouTube, and on the block of Jen Gmail. If you have the subject, if you want to collab with me, if you want to have a kind of discussion about something, hit me on the block of Jen email. It's very, very easy to remember. Thank you everyone who is in the room and interested in this subject. You guys saw the thumbnail. This is Jada and Will, but this is not just about Jada and Will. This is about a condition that they got going on in their marriage that you guys may have, and I'm talking to the men, that you men may have going on in your own home and don't even know about it, okay? You may not even know that you may have a Jada in your house. Now you're like, not me, my girl, my wife, no, not me. But I'm going to let you in on some girl code tonight, and I'm going to spill a little secrets. You know, on the block with Jen, I pride myself in being fair. Sometimes I'm talking to the ladies. Sometimes I'm talking to you fellas, okay? Both genders have been known to be in denial about a lot of things, okay? So tonight, I am going to drop some clues for you. So after I log off and you go somewhere else, you can think, damn, do I have a Jada in my house? If you guys saw the caption of this video, it said, what did it say? Does anybody know what it said? Does anybody know what it said? I'm waiting. Does anybody know what it said? Basically, fellas, it is the dangers of being or staying with a woman who resents you, right? Now, a lot of guys are like, hey, my woman doesn't resent me, but we're about to find out tonight because I'm going to drop some clues, and you may very well be with a woman that resents you. The problem with women and resentment is that it's not always overt, right? It's not always obvious. Women fester, right? It's like we have thoughts and ideas. Like I said, I'm going to drop some girl code tonight. Women have thoughts and ideas or feelings about things that you've done or said, and they will not communicate it with you, okay? And let's not say, well, you know, my woman is 30. Well, my woman is 40. Well, my woman is 50 years old. She tells me everything. That's BS. That's a load of crap. You guys heard me speak 1,000 times about people love to say they know how to communicate. Women especially, if I got something on my mind, I'm going to say it. I don't care who could. That's BS, okay? It sounds great to say. A lot of people say, hey, whatever I got on my mind, I'm going to say it, whether you like it or not. But 9 times out of 10, people don't communicate with their spouse as well as they claim to, right? That's why I always say the spouse's best friend knows way more about your relationship than the other spouse does. Okay? Because if we have a desire or a fantasy, 9 times out of 10, we're going to tell our best friend. We're not going to tell the guy in our life. Same thing with men. Your boys know way more about you and your relationship than your woman knows. So tonight, I want to get into the dangers of being with a woman that resents you. And again, a lot of you guys are probably like, my woman doesn't resent me. Well, we're going to find out tonight, right? Now, again, this is just my opinion. This right here, what I'm about to say about Jada and Will, is my opinion. Why? Because we've all been opining on the Smiths, and we don't know them personally, right? But that does not mean that we don't have eyes and ears and, you know, ways that we decipher relationships just looking at somebody, right? We can all, I'll just give you an example. We can all look at someone like, and I'm going to use the grandiose examples. We can all look at a Kobe Bryant without knowing him personally, may he rest in peace, without knowing him personally and say, wow, that man is driven. He's determined. He's a gentleman. He's a good dad. He's a good husband. That's just on the surface, right? Just looking at somebody for years and years and years, we can tell, wow, Kobe is really, who he says he is, who he presents, right? We can look at someone like, I don't know, throw somebody out there that we all know. And I'm just using celebrities because we all know celebrities and we've seen them for years on TV and films or whatever. We can all look at Nicki Minaj and pretty much sum up. She has a nasty disposition, right? Now, we don't know her personally, but we can see her in many, many different interviews and many, many different discussions on her own podcast. And we can pretty much gauge Nicki Minaj has a very nasty disposition and outlook on life. Now, I'm sure she has a best friend who's like, oh my gosh, she's the 4th of July. I love her. But in general, that is what we assess, right? We're constantly looking at people. We're constantly discerning or attempting to discern, right? But we can pretty much look at somebody. You guys pretty much know my personality. If you guys have been on my panel before or just in the chat or watch me on social media, you can pretty much gauge what my personality is like, right? And I can say, no, that's just me on social media, right? But if that's just me all the time on social media, you're probably right about what you think about me. You don't know me personally, but you can be like, that girl Jen is the type to say this. That girl Jen is the type to do this, right? So let's not play dumb tonight. Let's not act like, oh, we don't know these people personally. You don't have to know people personally to kind of gauge what their personality is like. Now, you may not know their personal dealings, right? Or what they do behind closed doors, but we could pretty much gauge who people are just on a day in and day out. We do it with our coworkers. We do it with our relatives. Like we do it with acquaintances. We pretty much can gauge what people look like. So I just wanted to prefix this Jada and Will opinion by saying that. Now, we've all seen Jada and Will for many, 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 many years. And this is where it's just my opinion and my discernment. Me looking at Jada and Will, you can tell that they have a very problematic relationship. I think it's a pretty good guess because whenever they're on the Red Table Talk, we see the problems that they have. We see how they interact with each other. It's not the most loving relationship. They're always talking about why they're hanging in there with each other, right? It's not like picket fences and puppies and roses. And it's like, I love you. I love you too. I love you. I love you too. No, it's I fucked around, but we ride or die. We ride together. We die together. Bad marriage for life. It's okay, well, you're out there and I'm not going to hold you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to force you to love me, but hey, we always meet somewhere in the middle. The son at one point wanted to emancipate himself from his parents. So we know that they have some toxicity going on between each other, but for some reason they're hell bent on keeping that marriage together. Salute to them. Couldn't be me, but salute to them, right? Some people will die on a hill even if everything around it is negative, just so they could be able to say, well, I didn't get divorced. Right? Some people will die on a hill with their best friend. Their best friend could be like a crow witch from hell. And everybody will be telling this person, your friend ain't shit, your friend ain't shit. But you're like, no, I want to be able to say that I've had a best friend for 30 and 40 and 50 years. So I'm hanging in there with my bestie, right? Some people choose very strange hills to die on. As we know, we've heard Will Smith say a myriad of times, I'm not getting divorced. I don't believe in divorce. He tried to hold on to his first marriage very, 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 very tightly because he just did not believe in divorce, right? That is who Will Smith is. Now, that is not my opinion because we've heard him say it over and over again. He doesn't believe in divorce. I'm sorry. He doesn't believe in divorce because he came from a broken home. So he's hell bent on keeping a family together no matter what. And sometimes when you're hell bent on doing something, you forget all the shit or you ignore all the shit that's going on just because you want to keep that title, right? You want to keep that marriage together. As you guys know, the Red Table Talk they had about the infamous entanglement, they ended that show by saying, we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life. So they both acknowledge that it's a bad marriage. That is not my opinion, right? So I want to go from there to this is my opinion. I feel like Jada Pinkett Smith resents Will Smith, right? That's just me observing, right? That's just me observing. He has this amazing, lucrative, worldwide global career. She's also an actress, right? but she's no Will Smith, right? She's not that large. So I think it's kind of hard for two people to be together when they both want something really, really badly, right? I just think, right? They have to be a very dynamic couple. Will Smith is larger than life. We know that there's been infidelity, depending on who you ask, because then they said, no, it's an open marriage, right? But again, let's look at the obvious. If it was such an open marriage, and I've had people up here who have been polyamorous and have open marriages, they don't get mad at each other when someone sleeps with somebody else, right? They're polyamorous, it is what it is. And then some of you may say, wait. Even in open marriages, there are rules, right? There are rules of engagement. But I would think someone on Will Smith's level and on Jada Pinkett's level, it's like, man, you know what this is. We're up here. We are the elite, the echelon. We can do what we want, long as we don't bring no drama home, and long as we never get divorced, right? Will Smith prides himself in saying, we don't hold any secrets. We tell each other everything. I know everything about Jada. She knows everything about me. But we still saw him a beaten man at that red table, right? We still saw him a beaten man on that Oscar stage, right? So, he can say what he wants, but we see him beaten. I used to watch Red Table Talk a lot. I thought it was interesting in the beginning. And if any of you watch Red Table Talk, you know that Jada is a beaten woman. It takes but a little nudge or a memory to make her cry. She cries a lot. I don't know about you, but I don't think happy people cry a lot, right? She cries a lot on that show. There's a lot of trauma and PTSD and toxicity that she discusses all the time. Now, she discusses it in a way like, hey, here are some solutions and here's what I think. But we both know, right, that that's for show. Why? Because we saw what happened at the Oscars. And after the infamous slap heard around the world, Will Smith was very, very torn up about he did. He had no conviction. He had conviction walking off the stage because I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping. But after he was very beaten, he was crying snots. Like he gave us the Viola Davis on that stage, crying snots down to his neck, saying he can't put up with people talking about him and people talking about he's supposed to take it and take it and take it. So he's not the Will Smith that we thought, right? Because we're thinking he's a strong, happy man and he doesn't care about people talking about them and their marriage. And they laughed about how bad their marriage is. Come to find out, he was up there pretty torn up. I feel that he is in a marriage, like a lot of you feel, that are toxic, right? That is toxic. I think, for one, Jada Pinkett resents him. And if you see them together, most recently, I saw a video that leaked today, right? Of her approaching him in their hallway saying, hey, Astaire is going to be here on Red Table Talk. And what do you think? Would you say that Astaire helped us with our marriage? This is Jada talking to Will behind the scenes of Red Table Talk. And what Will said was, well, what I would say is you should ask me before you point the camera at me. And it was a very, would seem to be private moment, but I don't know who leaked it. It was leaked today. So it seemed like just a video that was supposed to be between them two, but it leaked today. And I have my own theory why these things leak. Usually when PR people are trying to paint a certain picture, they start leaking things to make the other person look good. That video makes Will Smith look good. It makes it look like Jada Pinkett is being invasive, right? So, if, as you know, all these celebrities have spin doctors, right? So I'm sure in the next couple of weeks, mark my words, they're going to spin this to make Will Smith look like a victim and a really great guy because he still has this career he got going on. He still needs us to watch his movies and he still needs us to view him as a happy-go-lucky, non-threatening Negro, right? He threw all that away with the Oscar slap, so you can best believe that his spin doctors are at work trying to make him look human and soft and cuddly again. So I find it ironic that that video was leaked of Jada Pinkett basically being invasive and demanding in that video. It's a video I'd never seen before, but it leaked. And it's basically Jada trying to question him in the hallway of their home and Will feeling a way about her confronting him in the hallway and saying, you asked me before I came up because, this social media stuff is how I make money and what have you, right? And then Jada Pinkett turns the camera back on herself and she's like, whatever, anyway, I guess you can see Astaire's not helping us or whatever in this marriage. So you're going to start seeing things like that happen because they have to make Will Smith look cuddly and cute again. So let's get into this. Is going to be an open panel tonight. Okay. I am going to drop the link if you want to come aga with mama. You know, I like arguing with y'all. So I'm going to drop the link. If you hear something that triggers you, if you hear something you think is wrong, if you hear something you think is right, and you're like, wait, I think I'm in that situation, feel free to come up. I dropped the link. So let's continue, okay? Because this is just an observation that I made. And I was like, yeah, she hates him. She definitely hates him. So here are some little clues for you guys, right? And I'm here to break hearts and kill dreams, because a lot of you are thinking that you are in a very, good relationship, or at least, it's surviving, after a transgression or two. Now, here is the big secret. Men, hi, gentlemen. How are you tonight? How are you? You guys tend to, right? And you can stick this up your asses tonight, wherever you deem fit. I just, wherever you deem fit, you could put this, okay? Gentlemen, you guys tend to cheat or disrespect your women, right? A lot of men that cheat, they just cheat to cheat, right? I'm not going to talk about cheating tonight. That's a whole different show. I want to concentrate on resentment, and you may have a Jada Pinkett in your house, and it's dangerous. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? You guys tend to cheat and not really mean it. You just wanted some different ass for the night. The girl was flirting with you. She looked good. Time and opportunity, space and all that. You were feeling the way about your woman, or maybe you weren't. You were just bored with your woman in your marriage. So you feel like you could slide off real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Come back home. No big deal, right? Hey, I feel you. Great. The problem with that is women always find out. Women always find out. It can take a day, it could take a week, it could take a month, it could take a year. Women always find out. Sometimes they find out immediately, because when two people are together in a relationship for a long time, they are in sync. So you can tell when someone's lying. You can tell when someone's trying to be extra nice all of a sudden. You can tell when someone's dressing different, looking different, throwing on a little more cologne, getting the shape up. You know what I mean? You guys aren't very good. Men, I see, are not very good at cheating, because you guys are simple. You guys are simple. So when something changes, it raises a red flag. It's like, wait a minute, this guy barely washes his nuts. Now he's getting cologne, right? Anywho, so she finds out, fast forward, you go through hell and back. After she finds out, things are getting thrown. You're getting threatened with divorce or a breakup. Some plates may be crashing. A bottle may fly across, and she may try to stab you, or she may just give you the silent treatment. She's furious, right? Then you go through hell for weeks that turn into months, right? This woman still loves you. The shock of the cheating is wearing off now. It's wearing off. So you guys start thinking that it's okay. She got over it. She forgave you. She accepted your apology, licking my baby back to normal. I love us. I love us. That is where you go mentally, because men are simple and they take things at face value. Okay. So let's say me, for instance, you and I are together, gentlemen. You cheat on me. I still love you. There's so many things going through my head. I don't want that bitch to win. I don't want to break up this marriage. We are financially intertwined. We have this children to raise. There's a lot going on. We had planned to do X, Y, and Z. What about this mortgage? The car payments. I have to stay with this motherfucker. I no longer respect. That is what you guys miss out. I no longer respect you, but I feel like it's better to keep him, right? That joke is cheaper to keep her. Guess what? There's a version of that for women, right? It's just better to keep him than break up this family, break up the finances, what have you. Divorce is too much of a problem. So what? He fucked that hoe. I'm going to be able to deal with this. What happens is women lose respect for you. They start resenting you. But when you come home from a hard day's work, she looks like this. Hey, babe, how you doing? What do you want for dinner? Are you good? Okay. So I'm going to go out with the girls later. What are you doing? You going to hang out? Okay. This is how it looks, right? So this is how resentment looks. Now, because men take things at face value, right? You guys are simple. If it's a smile, you think it's happiness. If it's a frown, you think it's anger. And what women do, because we're very, very resilient and have to keep the family going, and we are built to endure and to nurture and to suffer. We're not built to suffer, but we are raised to suffer, right? We're conditioned. The men are from the street, the women aren't. Men are just going to be men, okay? I had a girlfriend who told me one time, her mother-in-law told her, if you think you're going to be in a marriage and never suffer infidelity, welcome to the real world. All men cheat, right? So women are raised and conditioned that way, right? Fact of the matter is, a woman can stay in a relationship with you and in a marriage with you and hate you to the core. Hate you to the core. Resent you to the core. Okay. And your simple ass is like, well, she's smiling. She's not bringing up such and such anymore. Oh my God, I got my baby back. No, you don't got your baby back. What you're looking at is a completely different human being who no longer really trusts you, who is living with the burden of your betrayal. But for the sake of whatever's going on, because it's better to keep him, we've got this family, we've got these finances, she's going to give you this, right? And you guys are thinking, oh, she's over it. So rewinding back to Jada and Will, very simply, right? If you have half a brain, I only ask y'all to come up here with half a brain. You don't need a whole brain, just half a brain to get you through, okay, these talks that I have with you, half a brain. If you have half a brain and you watch the aftermath, not the infamous slap, but the aftermath of what happened after the infamous slap, you can see the resentment in Jada. Now, people say she couldn't stop him. Forget what happened in the beginning. Let's fast forward to after. And let's keep some things in mind. El Dache, ¿qué pasa? Let's keep some things in mind. What's up, Jabari? What's up, Andre? I dropped the link if you guys want to cam up. I'm sure you want to cam up first, El Doctrine. So when we look at the aftermath, right? No, Jada couldn't have stopped him. I mean, what? She's like 4 feet tall. She's damn near 4 feet tall. We have this man, a raging bull, is 6'2". You know what I'm saying? Working out. Played Muhammad Ali. Who's stopping him from running on stage, right? Nobody. Not a damn person, right? After, what Jada did to me was very, very curious. Okay. Now, mind you, this is the biggest night of Will's life. The biggest night, right? To him, right? Maybe not to me, maybe not to you. Maybe we don't give a damn about an Oscar unless it's raising our pay. Who cares, right? Who watches the Oscars anymore? Is the current theme. Who watches the Oscars anymore, right? So, biggest night of his life. All those years doing movies, studying scripts, working out, method acting. This is it. The coup de grace, the Oscar, right? We're not even married to Will. We don't know Will. We're not related to Will, but we know it was the biggest night of his life. So the person that's supposed to be closest to him, and this is what happens in some of y'all's relationships too. The person that's supposed to be closest to him, the woman that bore his children, right? The woman that knows the ups, the downs, ins, outs, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this man, who knows how important that Oscar was to him, who knows how hard he worked for his career. After, we're talking about after the slap, he sits down. She is tunnel vision. And this video is out all over the place so you guys can see it. She is tunnel vision on Chris Rock. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in a normal relationship, that is not toxic, that is not broken, where there's no resentment, if your wife or your husband just cold slapped somebody, you're going to follow him all the way, or her, all the way off the stage. When he or she sits down, you're going to be like, babe, like, what the fuck, right? Not at all. Jada just tunnel vision on Chris Rock, like, yay, finally, this dude did something for me. And Chris Rock, yeah, I didn't like that joke, so good for you, right? Tunnel vision. Doesn't look at him at all. The video is out. I'm not making this up. Okay? Doesn't look at him at all. Now he proceeds to curse an entire sentence, not once, but twice. She still doesn't look at him. Right? She still doesn't look at him. She doesn't even say, like, babe, all right, cool, chill. Like, she doesn't put her hand on his shoulder. She doesn't put her hand on his leg. Nothing. She just lets him go ham on the biggest night of his life on a global stage, the Oscars. Right? Now, I don't know about you, but we've all been in a situation that got volatile, and we've stopped our friends, our relatives, our significant others from getting in a fisticuffs, even if it's a verbal fisticuffs, because it's like, yo, I don't want you to get in trouble. That's usually we go into protection mode really, really quickly. Listen, whether it's a woman, a man, friend, sister, whatever, we kind of pull them back, right? Hold them back a little bit, like, look, I don't want you to get in trouble. So you mean to tell me that Jada was at the Oscars when Will was about to get an Oscar, okay, the biggest accolade of his career, and she didn't even look at him to say, babe, chill, it's good, you're good. She let him go off, right? And that's where, in my opinion, you can see the resentment, where she liked the conflict that was going on. And we all know she laughed, after, Will Smith was at 110 in his head, and she had the wherewithal to laugh, watching her husband become, a tyrant on a global stage. She laughed. She was like, yeah, he just slapped you. Yeah, it's whatever. Didn't even look at him. So similarly, let's get back to you, gentlemen, right? Similarly, because this is not all about Jada and Will. This is about the dangers of staying with a woman that resents you, right? I don't care how docile a woman is. I don't care how soft you think your woman is. I don't care how big a heart you think she has. Women, remember the end of the Titanic when the little old lady threw the diamond over the side of the ship? She was telling her granddaughter, a woman's heart is a deep, dark ocean of secrets. I don't think you guys understand how deep and dark the ocean of secrets is in our hearts. I don't think I think you underestimate what we think and how we feel about you after a betrayal. And we know that Jada and Will have had many betrayals. Now they could sound cute and say, oh, it's an open relationship, and we don't hold each other to the standards of regular marriages. We just let us do us, right? And we love each other anyway. Now we know better, right? We know better, right? Because we've seen what's transpired between them. We've seen what they've said out their own mouths, right? So again, similarly, you guys are in some relationships where you've disrespected a woman, okay, more than once, or you completely cheated on her more than once, or you're choosing your friends repeatedly, or you're choosing your mama repeatedly over her. So it doesn't have to only be cheating and disrespect. It could just be a constant, she feels slighted by you. She constantly feels slighted by you, right? So what happens is resentment grows, and what she will do, right? When she knows she's the beneficiary of everything you guys own, she'll let you fuck up and fuck up big and not stop you, right? So when Jada's sitting there laughing at what he did, right? While Jada's sitting there letting him go off and not even look, everybody else in the Oscar room was looking at Will yell, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Not once, but twice. Everybody at the Oscars was looking at Will like, oh my God, is he going to get back up? What's going on with Will? The only one in the room that wasn't looking at him was Jada Pinkett Smith, his wife. She was the only one not looking at him. She was enjoying the show and watching Chris Rock's reaction, while everybody else was looking at Will like, oh my God, is he going to jump back up? That is what women will do to you. To you men who think she's over it. I'm not going to worry about it. Look at my baby. It's been 6 months and now she's hugging me again and having sex with me again. I got my baby back. That is what you guys do in relationships. And you don't know that your woman is not the same woman prior to that betrayal. You guys still think that you have the same woman under your roof and in your house. That is no longer the same woman. The woman that has been betrayed, the woman whose trust you have broken, is not the same woman. It is a scar that cannot be erased. Okay. She looks at you a certain way now. She feels about you a certain way, but you guys think because she's still making sandwiches and cracking her legs that everything is okay, and it is not. It will show up in little things, and the chance, whatever chance she gets to get you back, she will. Most women are ticking time bombs, even though when you walk in from work, she's like, hey, right? And because you guys see that, you think everything is cool, and it is not. Okay. Now, I could be wrong on those rare occasions that I'm wrong, right? But you guys tell me what you think, right? Because this is something I've not only experienced, but it's something I've seen other women do. I dropped the StreamYard link again. It's something I've seen other women do. I've seen it happen with my friends. I've seen it happen with my family. Remember, women talk, girls talk, right? And I've had many a friend who has been betrayed, right, or cheated on, or constantly dealing with a mama's boy, or just something that doesn't rub her the right way. But because there's benefits in that relationship, she's gonna hang in there with you. But you'll be none the wiser. You won't know. You're like, oh, she's smiling, she's shopping, she's good, I'm good, she's good, the kids are good, everybody's good. And when your friends ask you, hey, how's Penelope? You're like, man, she's good. My wife is good. Everybody's good. The kids are good. Everybody's good, right? That is what you guys are thinking because that's what you're seeing. So therefore, that's what you're saying, right? But it's very dangerous to have a Jada in your house, as you saw with Will. She made no effort at all to stop him, right? And by stopping, people were like, well, she can't, he was a bull in a china shop. I agree with you. There was nothing that she was going to do. She wasn't going to put her hand on his lap. He was gone already. He was determined to, I'm going to hurt somebody tonight. And that was on his mind. So what I mean by she could have stopped him is she couldn't, that whole thing that she did, she could have held the poker face till after. Why? Because simply it was his night. Just simply it was his night. That's all. It was Will's night. And I'm like, I'm not going to ruin it with my attitude because this is just his night. I'll deal with it later. Listen, I'll be a duck that night, water off my back. It's whatever. And I think what we can all, after the dust settled, I think we can all agree that it was a stupid, lame, corny joke that's been going on for years. It wasn't like, it wasn't one of those jokes that will touch your soul. Okay. I've seen comics throw out some jokes that will touch somebody's soul. Okay. If you watch rap battles, those rap battles touch your soul. That joke was lame. It was whack. It had nothing to do with her alopecia. I think we can all agree on that. Jada has a full head of hair. Go to her Instagram. She has a full head of hair. She has a tiny strip up here that she's calling alopecia. I don't know. All the people I see with alopecia have round bald spots or no hair at all, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. So she has what's called it's a very mild version of alopecia, and she'll show you what it is. If you go to her Instagram page, she has the video up that she posted a couple months ago where she was like, look, I have alopecia. You see that little line right there? So it's literally something that if she doesn't tell you she has alopecia, you would not know. And we all know Jada's had very, very short hair for many, many, many years. She's known to chop her hair off. So we can move on from, no, it was the joke. We are on resentment and men being with women who resent them and not knowing it, thinking that everything is okay because she's acting like normal. All the while, she's either looking to better deal you, fuck one of your friends, fuck a coworker. Once respect goes out the window, once a woman's living with betrayal, she is not the same human being. Why you guys think that? I do not know, but I'm here to tell you, not true. So like I said, I am breaking hearts and killing dreams because that's how women are. Now I'm going to look at your comments, my lovely people. What's up, Soup Bone? Kenny Ray. Jabari. Morena Reyes, how are you, darling? Tristan! All right. I'm scrolling by and I'm not reading yet. I'm not reading your damn comments. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Am I muffled again? Damn it. Don't tell me StreamYard is fucking with me again. Can you guys hear me again? Can you guys not hear me again, I think? Jabari says she resents the hell out of him. Morena Reyes says that appears to be the case, that she is jealous and it manifests itself in the way she treats Will. Yeah, she treats him very, there's a way, I mean, that she treats him that's obvious. What's up, Joanna? Supon said, not true. Supon says, on the block with Jen, have you ever cheated? I have never cheated. Okay. I've never cheated. I've been in relationships where I told the person, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. I'm getting tired of you not doing this, you're not doing this. And then what happens is women, like one of my exes said, we monkey bar into the next relationship. But I've never left a relationship where the guy was like, oh, I didn't know that was an issue, right? Because I'm very, very verbal. I'm very, as you guys know, I'm very blunt about any issues I may have. So can that one man on this planet ever say, I didn't know why she left? Because I probably told him 105 times what he wasn't doing that was annoying me. So no, I haven't. And cheating is a lot of work. Doctrine, we are built to endure. Yes, we are. What's up, Afi Kingdom? This is a great point. This is a great point. Andre and Andrea Love Crossing Borders says it wasn't the biggest night for Jada, so she didn't care. And I think that was really obvious with her actions. When you look at her actions, she was sitting there like, I don't know, to hell with that. Will and him getting the Oscar, this Chris Rock slap is getting good, right? That's why when Will was yelling, as loud as he was yelling, and everybody else was in shock, Jada didn't even look at him, right? Which I found very, very curious because, again, like I said, if you're with someone you love and they are going ham on the biggest night of their life, you're at least going to lean over and be like, babe, chill out. Like, calm down, right? That's second nature. That's what we do with people we love. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be a spouse. It could be a friend. We've done it with our friends. Like, yo, chill, homie. Like, relax, because the cops are going to come. You're going to get arrested. You know what I mean? So it's like we always try to pull the people we love back. And she made no attempt, or absolutely no attempt. She just let him go off. I would have looked like, oh my God, he's really yelling in here. You know what I mean? So, but she didn't do that. And I found that interesting. So these are just things that I find interesting. Eldomi has a great point. This is such a great point. Eldomi says, I think Jada resents Will because he's really not her type, but she stays with him because it's more beneficial. I gotta agree. Otherwise, I don't think we would have heard her pining for decades. Like, it's a shame that as long as we know their marriage, we know that she's pined for Tupac. It's not like it was that one interview one time 10 years ago. Like, Jada takes a chance to talk about Tupac as often as she can. She's done it on different platforms. She's done it on her own platform. And Red Table Talk, to me, in my opinion, was her way to vent about the marriage that she's not happy in my opinion, because if you notice, the Red Table Talks have been a lot about their family and a lot about her marriage to Will Smith. It hasn't exactly been like different topics. It's what's going on with my daughter, what's going on with my son, what's going on in this marriage, what's going on with the entanglement. And then in between, I'll throw out a topic about something else just to keep it, you know what I mean, just to keep it spicy. But I think that Red Table Talk, now that I look at it and I'm seeing all of this play out, I'm like, okay, that Red Table was basically just a place for you to vent about this marriage that you're not happy in. As you guys know, it's in Will's book, but he's also said it on the Red Table, where he planned this lavish 40th birthday party for Jada Pinkett. And he traced down her DNA. He found out who her ancestors were. Mary J. Blige was supposed to perform. It was just an extravaganza. And Jada Pinkett made him feel this small about it, saying that party wasn't about me. That party was about your ego and wanting to make a big party because you wanted to think or feel like you made a big party, huh? What the fuck? Like, who twists a gift like that? Picture your spouse is making you the biggest 40th birthday party ever, right? And your thought is, oh, this is about your ego. This is not about me. Who does that? Where do they do that? Somebody please explain to me how that was Will feeding his ego, because that was a great twist. That was a great twist. I've never received a gift and thought to myself, this isn't about me. This is about you and your ego. Like, he put a lot of work in for that party. So that shows me there's resentment there. And no matter what Will does, she's going to chop him down about it. And we have Juwana backstage. Let me pull her up while I keep looking at your comments. Juwana, how are you, lady? We can't hear you. Can you hear me? I don't think Juwana can hear me. Juwana, you over there sipping? We can't hear you. You're on live, Juwana. I don't think Juwana can hear me. Oh my God. Juwana said in the comments, she hides your shit and spits in your food. What's up, Juwana?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What you got for us tonight?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, shit.
You can't hear me? I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, me and Giovanna are having technical difficulties. Ill Doctrine says, if the heel of his hand or the top part of his hand underneath the base of his fingers made contact with Chris Rock's cheekbone or chin, it would make sort of a, oh God, we're still doing that. We're still doing Slapgate. We're still doing it was fake. Oh my goodness. I will say this, Chris Rock is not that good an actor. Chris Rock is not that good an actor to get slapped, to be that shocked, to stumble his words, and then in the aftermath be on stage looking lost. They're dropping so much footage of that slap that if you watch him on stage when Questlove went up, as a matter of fact, when Questlove went up and said his speech, you see Chris thrown off. Chris is not that good an actor. He's just not that good an actor to look, you know what I mean, demoralized. Like it was not Denzel we talking about. We're not talking about Viola Davis. He's not that good an actor to play that off. Joanna, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Joanna's having technical difficulties. Andre says, why is everyone assuming Will cheated when there is no proof? No woman have come out in 24 years. It doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? Again, I know you don't think in 24 years, the only thing he's ever stuck is Jada. Like, is that what you're insinuating? That in 24 years, the only vagina that's been stuck by Will Smith is Jada's, right? So again, they have a very unorthodox marriage, right? So it seems to me like they're constantly moving the goalposts. Like, okay, if you go that way and I go this way, it's not cheating because we're open. But then why'd you go with August Alsina? I'm mad at you. I'm going to get you back, right? So there's a lot of things that go on in their marriage that we don't know because it's so foggy and so crazy. But I'm not about to sit on here on today, okay, and talk about Will they never stuck nothing else but Jada in 24 years. I know we're not going to do that. This man that's been all over the world, this heartthrob, this wealthy man. Is that what we're saying? In 24 years, he ain't nothing but Jada? I know we're not saying that. We all grown, okay? So do I think it was, oh my God, he cheated? No, it could simply be they had a conversation like, hey, I'm going to step out. You can step out of the marriage. There's still going to be resentment depending on who those people pick, right? And some people, some significant others agree with. We spoke about this before, Andre. Sometimes a significant other will agree to an arrangement and not be cool with that arrangement, not really be cool with that arrangement, but they're in too deep. So do I think it was we took vows and then Will cheated? No, but but on the other hand, do I think Will never stuck anything in 24 years? Hell no. Hell, we talk about Will Smith, one of the biggest celebrities on planet Earth, and you think he's only seen one vagina for 24 years. His mama don't believe that. Joanna, can you hear me? Joanna, can you hear me? Joanna can't hear me. Joanna just chilling. Tristan, was I muffled for a while? Because StreamYard is starting to do that. And I hate when I be on my little rants and then StreamYard got me sounding like I'm underwater. Jabari says she waited, Jada. She waited until they were married with children to cheat on him after he was faithful after they got married. She cheated with a friend, not me, and it nearly destroyed him. Oh, wait, we're not talking about Jada. We're talking about something personal. Is that a personal story, Jabari? Yeah, I think it is. My bad. That's not about Jada. That's a personal story. They ended up splitting, but he was with her knowing that she resented her for what he did when they were dating. Yeah, people will resent you and stay with you. If Domi said, laughing out loud, Jada was like, I'm glad he ruined his name. I mean, it just looks suspicious. It just looked weird. That's all. And this is human behavior 101. This isn't even like digging deep into it. It's just human behavior. We all know that when we're with someone we love and we see them about to mess up really bad, we at least look at them. Like, we at least look at them. She didn't even look at him and he was screaming at the top of his lungs. That's weird. But not if she resents him. It's not weird. Oh, Jabari says Jada relished in the destruction of Will's good guy persona. That's what it looked like to me. But I'm just observing. What's up, Reese from Philly? Tristan, was I muffled for a long time?
No, like a minute or two.
Ah, that's too long. The people got to hear me.
Well, I mean, we kind of understood. It was just like choppy in the beginning.
Okay, but see, I think that's a StreamYard thing because that's been happening lately.
Well, to be honest, it's only to the loud people.
Okay.
Like you and Anna get that a lot. Y'all just loud.
Are you serious? Because then I'll talk lower because I don't want to be muffled. I'd rather talk lower than be muffled.
Well, when you're going off, if you ever look at a replay when you're going off, you'll see the audio cuts out.
Oh shit. Okay. Good luck. So what if I talk like this? Is this a good volume?
Yeah, fake as hell. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Ain't nobody gonna come here and be like this. Oh, Jen is speaking so nicely. No, where's the chariot? Where's the blade ripping people's heads off?
Yeah, thank you, because I gotta keep it up here. That's how I express myself. Haran says, upon discovering new information in regards to Jada, I truly don't believe she's beneficial to Will. I knew of their issues a while ago, but much more is clear. Yeah, a lot of things are becoming a lot more clear. So again, I'm not so much stuck on her. She could have stopped him, even though she could have held her face. But what's more interesting to me is what happened after. How she was just like fixed on Chris on stage while her husband is yelling at the top of his lungs, and she doesn't even like look like, oh my God, he's spazzing out. What should I do? She was like,
Listen, that's how I was when I saw it. I was like, oh shit. And you know it's crazy? Everybody was saying it's just to slap this, just to slap that. That 2 seconds of that slap is probably costing that man hundreds of millions of dollars. I never seen Netflix put anything on hold for any big celebrity.
yeah, me neither.
Like they defended Dave Chappelle to the max. I said, but it's and everybody's upset. Like, oh, why are they punishing Will? Why are they trying to ruin his reputation? I said, that's all it takes.
Yep.
Uh, I said, when you have an image, something like that, now they look at you like, yo, is this man psychotic?
Yep.
It's,
And this is interesting. What Don Levon just said. That look is oh my goodness. Look at his profile picture. Dios mío. What Don Levon said is interesting, right? Because I know Andre said earlier, Will never cheated on her, right? So then this statement, again, coming straight out of Jada and Will's mouth. When Will said to her during that August Alsina thing, and again, I'm focusing on the resentment, okay? When Will said to her, I'm going to get you back, she said, you already got me back. Let's be clear. And then she said, this is really not about this is verbatim. It's all there. You can Google it. He said, I'm going to get you back regarding the August Alsina thing. She said, you already got me back, or you got me back plenty. And then he said, no, and then she said, it's not about getting anybody back. And he said, for me, it is. That is what he said. For me, it is. So if he said, I'm going to get you back, she said, you already got me back. Obviously, there were things that went on that we don't know about regarding other people. And she said, it's not about anybody getting anybody back. He said, for me, it is. That's what Will said.
I think Will probably stopped a lot of her projects because of it. I said, because I remember she was on that show Hawthorne, which was a hit, and Will shut it down.
I used to watch that.
I said he got a control issue, so let's not forget that. I said so.
He didn't get to where he was being, you know what I mean, a nice guy. He plays a nice guy, but nobody gets to that level just being nice in this business. Joanna says, oh, I'm sorry, Jen can't come up, but you are breaking hearts tonight. A woman is very vindictive. I know I am. That's why I pray. Listen, I cannot deny. We are very, very vindictive. Once I am hell bent on something, you won't hear me talk about it anymore, but things will be done.
Can you elaborate on that so I know what to look out for? Because that sounds like the pettiest thing I have ever heard.
Well, I'll elaborate. Real G's move in silence.
I tell women I miss them like Essen Island, but that doesn't mean anything. What are we talking about?
I'm just saying I agree with Joanna 100%.
Jen said I'm not giving up the sister code tonight. There's no girl code.
I'm giving up enough girl code. I'm telling them what to look out for, but I can't give you that, Tristan. Then I'd have to put some cement boots on you if I give you that.
Oh, damn. I said,
and I like you, Tristan. You know I got love for you from here to Cancun.
That's just petty.
Javari said Jada enjoyed every second of it.
How can you be married for that long? Imagine being married for that long and you're jealous of your husband the entire time.
It happens. But it's like, it's the lure. You know what I mean? I can imagine for her, it's the lure of like, is it better to be Will Smith's ex or Will Smith's wife. I can put up with some shit to stay Will Smith's wife. And as we know, we spoke about this before, the way they started was horrible. It wasn't romantic. There was nothing romantic about those two getting together. He was supposed to date her, but then saw the other woman that he ended up marrying and ditched Jada. Like he was literally on his way to meet with Jada for a date, and he saw the Sherry chick, his first wife, and was like, "Who is that?" Then got with her, married her, had a child with her. They split up, and then he spun the block for Jada. Like she's totally plan B. He said it, she said it. So they were already on a shaky foundation where he only spun the block to get her because it's like, hey, I remember I liked you before I married this woman. This woman don't want me no more. So let me spin the block and go back and get you. And Jada went for it. She went for it. Why? Because he's Will Smith. Because I'm sure if he was Willie, you know what I mean? From a corner out in the Bronx, she would have been like, I ain't gonna be your plan B. But because he's Will Smith asking, she was like, okay, all right. I'm not dating nobody. I'm not doing nothing. You know, whatever. I'll come up. I'll come up and get with you. But it was already, the foundation was already, in my opinion, quicksand. And then it's like, of course you're gonna stay. It's Will Smith. It's Will Smith. What are you going to do? Will Smith. And you're not going to tell me that Hawthorne and all that stuff was impossible because she's the wife of Will Smith. Right? If you're a studio, you're going to be like, whatever you want to do, Mrs. Smith. Because we know that the press of her being the press of her being his wife is also going to help that project. So being with him was super, super, super beneficial, not so much vice versa, because he can get divorced, right, from her and still be, you know, the big megastar. Honestly, I think he'll be even more loved because they're going to be like, oh, see, it wasn't him all along. It was him being with her. And now look, we got our will back. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
I think Will destroyed a few careers. Cause who's that girl on Hitch? I haven't seen her in anything. Cause wasn't that like a little story back then about an affair going on?
You talking about Margot Robbie?
No, before that, the white Latin chick.
You talking about Ava Mendes?
Yep.
Let me say, Ava Mendes got with Ryan Gosling and went off and had 2 babies.
Oh, so she cheated on me with? Oh, I see. No, I can't compete with that one.
Ryan Gosling, The Notebook.
That stupid ass movie.
Hey, don't blaspheme, Tristan. It's The Notebook.
What man waiting that long?
Ryan Gosling.
You see, Eva gave him them 2 kids real fast, right?
Oh, quick, fast.
She not stupid.
And then she disappeared. Like, yeah, been waiting for her to come back. What's up, Chef Shapino? Chef Shapino says she wanted a Will Smith life without being a Will Smith wife. She wanted a cheeseburger and hold the bird.
Yo, hold the bird.
Bars. See, those are bars because I truly believe that. Like, she loved everything she was in and what was going on, but I still feel like she had a little resentment, right? And I think that's why she was constantly throwing Tupac in his face. I think that was strategy to always keep him at a certain level, which is another thing that women who resent you do. They'll always talk about how the baby daddy before you was better, or how her daddy was better than you, or how her ex was better than you. That's another tactic that those women do. There's no reason why there should be multiple videos of Jada Pinkett, a married woman, talking about Tupac. I don't care how close they were. I do not care how close they were. And the fact that Will said, I always felt like I was in his shadow, to the point where I couldn't even talk to him, where I saw him in public. Had it not been for Jada's behavior regarding Pac after his death, and even while he was alive, Will wouldn't have felt a ways. He wouldn't have felt the ways. But in my opinion, it's like Jada didn't know how to hold her tongue about Tupac around Will Smith. And again, talking about Resentment, that's another tactic that women do. They'll make the guy they with feel less than so they can always feel in control. Like, well, don't forget, you're not even the type of guy that I wanted to be with from the beginning. Because this Tupac guy, I'm just saying, we had a
It, it's so funny how she wants to go after the the one of the most. Listen, I love Tupac, I do, but let's not act like he wasn't easily influenced because he wasn't that thug that she was so in love with. I said he kind of got, you know, his environment shaped him that way. So to me, it's like, all right, you're gonna basically go with this man who more than likely, if he kept going, would have ended up being broke because Suge was taking his money regardless. He would have been like Mike Tyson, having not a dollar to his name, and we clowning him. So to me, I think she dodged the bullet. Well, oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm about to say the wrong thing. I forgot how Tupac died. Um,
damn, Tristan.
no, no, it was an accident. 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 I didn't mean it like that. I don't need people coming at
I
me.
know you did it.
But to me, she's like you holding on to a man where you see where Tupac's future was going, and it wasn't going good. That's a fact. So if I was Will, that should have been the first red flag. Like, yo, you really sitting there chasing a man who's basically about to be burnt out in the industry.
And I think that, again, we all love Tupac, but I think she exaggerated his persona because and it's funny, I was having this debate the other day on Facebook. Someone told me like how many gangsters went to Juilliard, right? And I was like, I didn't know Tupac went to Juilliard. But Tupac, he was an artist. He was a poet. He was a dancer, even. He was a dancer. He wasn't exactly, a stone cold street thug that we know, right? And that's okay. Not taking anything from him. But like you said, he signed a death row and the Timbs came on, the big baggy jeans. He became, a caricature of a thug. And you guys know how I feel about caricatures of thugs. He became this caricature, right? This thug life. And I think that she really pressed Will with that. But I honestly think they were the same kind of happy-go-lucky type of person. It's just that Pac got signed to death row, and there was a whole image you had to, put up over there. I love this point here that Jabari made, and here's why. He said Tupac wasn't even feeling her on that level. Come on, he smashed, but he was in relationships with other women. There's another thing. It reminds me of Little Kim and Biggie. As you know, Little Kim does the same thing that Jada does with Tupac, Little Kim does with Biggie. All the interviews, everywhere she Biggie. Biggie done got married to another woman, had children with other women, never claimed Little Kim on that level. So she looks stupid still talking about Biggie decades later. Similarly, Jada looks stupid talking about Tupac decades later, and he never claimed her, never married her, never got her pregnant, never. It's like, how close were y'all when he was out there with what's her name? The Jones chick, Quincy Jones' daughter, Jada or whoever. So he was in relationships with other women. So I'm like, how serious was this friendship exactly, or this sexual relationship, or they claimed they never had sex? I don't know what was going on with them, but why continue talking about this man? Now, if she was single, it doesn't matter. But to be married to Will and you're crying snots about Tupac saying your chemistry and you've never loved like that, and the chemistry y'all had, and it's like, what? Like, you look dumb because y'all were never in a relationship. And I got friends that I adore, but I'm not going to get married and be on interviews constantly talking about this friend that I had. In my opinion, it was kind of something she held over Will. Like, just so you know, you're cool, but you're no Tupac. Right? So I'm like, I don't know what that was about, but it was bizarre. Oh, Chef, thank you. Yeah, Kadada Jones.
You just loading up the clip tonight. You just like, listen. Tupac ain't a thug. I said Jada out here looking stupid, married to a man that she hate. That is like, that who writes that bad script. Lifetime. That's a Lifetime movie. I should write that.
You
I should
gotta
write
send
that.
me that. Send me that picture. Send me that picture, Tristan. You never
Uh,
send me the pictures. You got my number, my DM, my email. Send me that picture. Jabari said Will is competing with the idea of Tupac and Jada's mind. I agree. And I don't listen. We need all kinds of people to live on this planet. We need the simps, the lovers, the haters, the gangsters, the docile, the nerds, the blurs, the rockers. We need all kinds of different people. So I don't mind that Tupac wasn't really a thug. Did he play a really, really good one on TV? Yes, he did. But we know the core of him was not that. We know that he got involved with Death Row. We know that he had to keep up appearances, but we know Pac wasn't that, right? We really know Pac wasn't that. So, when I hear Will say in an interview, I always felt like I couldn't be that guy, that type of rapper. Here, Jada's with this, Will Smith, this Fresh Prince guy. She's with the Fresh Prince, and he's over there being Pac. I never felt, you know what I mean? I always felt like I was in his shadow. Why isn't that man being assured or reassured by his wife that you don't have to be Pac? Like, who cares about Pac? Not in that way. I loved him. He was my friend, but you're not competing with Pac. Like, it's just weird to me, the stuff that went down in their relationship. And that's what I'm saying. Resentment, resentment, resentment. Some of you guys have Jada in your house and don't know it. She's waiting for that opportunity, or she's just sticking around because it benefits her. I'm just saying.
See, but this is why Mr. Rucker says prenup, though.
Is that why he says prenup?
You like validated that man low key. You just validated him, kind of. You like, uh,
Hey, listen. I'm not against prenups. I wouldn't sign one. I'd rather not get married than sign a prenup. But I think if you want to get married and you have millions of dollars and you want to protect your money, by all means, get her to sign a prenup. And if she does it, then great. But I think a prenup is basically saying up front, I don't trust that we're going to be together forever. And I don't trust if we break up, you're not going to take my money. There's still a trust thing in there, in my opinion. And I don't want, I'm a fairy tale person. I don't want to marry somebody I don't trust 150%. I'd rather just date you. Let's just date. That way nobody's scared about what money is going where. Let's just date. Let's just date. Everybody date and be happy. Let's just date.
pretty much. I agree. Because you got people out here like this. Get signed a prenup. I'm like, 0 divided by 0 is still 0, bro. You got nothing now.
Right? I understand protecting millions of dollars. I really, really do. But I'm just like, I'd rather just stay. Let's just date. Let's just date.
Now you just got to do what Kobe did. Just give her all the houses. So basically, whatever money she do get, it all go to taxes.
Oh.
He did Vanessa dirty in that divorce proceeding. She said, "I'm good." She said, "I'll stay."
I mean, listen, and look, oh my, look what Vanessa's worth now. It is insane. Ron,
What's poppin'?
what is popping? What do you think about not just Jada, right? Because we spoke about Jada ad nauseum, even though they're a great case study. I said before that there's so many layers to that slap heard around the world. There's so many layers about the industry and marriages, relationships, and resentment and anger and break mental breakdowns. And there's so many layers to it. It is a wonderful case study. We could dissect this for the next freaking 3 months. So what do you think in general about the topic?
I think the overall an argument should be made for the importance of being with people who are either accomplished or they feel content within themselves.
Mm.
Because if you're not ever involved with people who are not content within themselves, who always have this lingering hole within themselves, and they look at you and you feel you seem content, you seem successful, you seem everything that they never ever could really grasp, no matter how hard they try. And this goes for men and women. If you are in that particular situation, then you might always find yourself at odds with this person. And hey, this isn't even only in marriages. You find the same situation in friendships.
Mhm. Definitely in friendships.
So you just always have to make sure that, yeah, yeah, you got your thing going, but you got to make sure that the people that you're hanging around, they also are very secure within themselves. Because, like I said, it's only going to put a strain on your relationship if they're not.
So it's interesting you say that, because I remember Oprah talking about Gail and like the secret to them being friends for so many years. And it's like, listen, if you're gonna be jealous of anybody, it's gonna be the billionaire friend, right? And Oprah was basically saying she never wanted to be me, right? She never wanted to be me. Like, she was complete and whole and happy with her career and with her life. And I think that is the key to being friends or in a relationship with someone who's enormously successful. You really have to be content with who you are. You see, Stedman is out the way. I thought Stedman was dead. Stedman is very much alive and well. Okay. But I guess he's comfortable with, you're the billionaire, you're the famous person, you're the face on the cover, and I'm cool with that. So yeah, you're right. It's like, it's not just resentment in romantic relationships, but it could be with friends as well. And you have to look out for that. You have to be careful, because not everybody that resents you leaves you alone, right?
Well, let's just call it what it is, Jenny. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it a buck. Sometimes people just don't know how to play this fucking position. Like, you're not the
That's a
star
fact.
player. You might be Scotty. You might be John Starks. You're still on the team though. you know,
My
it
father.
doesn't mean you're not on the team.
My
It's just
father.
you not.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
No,
Chris.
no, I was saying my father said that about my ex, because I remember I was down bad, and he was like this. It's funny how this girl loved you so much when you're the bench player, but now when you're starting to get them reps in, she want to act out. I said, he said, son, leave that girl alone. I said, a lot of people want you on that bench. Not many people want you starting. And Jada is one of those people.
Well,
She
again, was to your point. Your father's absolutely right. Sometimes people are.
and then
Can't hear you, Haran.
that's what happens when you're from New York. The richest place in the world with the shittiest service. I'm telling you.
Sorry about that, folks.
Okay, he's back. He's back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sometimes people could just want to be around you because you make them feel better about who they are. You know what I mean? And they could be down bad, but being around you just takes their mind off the fact that they're not, as bad off as you, or misery loves company, so on and so forth. So you have to really be careful. Like, what really twisted because you guys know, like, throughout this whole situation, I was really on a heavy, like, let's stop talking about Jada, you know what I mean? Let's not focus, on her and so on and so forth or whatever. But when allegedly today, when I found out that she didn't even side with dude for what he did, basically saying that, you know what I mean?
It's real.
What's up?
I wonder if that statement is real.
That's what I'm saying. Allegedly. That's what I'm saying. Allegedly. Like,
Right.
when that statement came out, I really want to research if she actually said this, because if she
Right.
said it, you know what I'm talking about, Jen. If she said it,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean,
I don't think it is, because it'll be a moment for her.
and I really want to.
If you're not in the limelight like that, you're gonna take whatever headline that you can possibly grab. The
And
Kardashians have
like I
been
said,
doing it for decades now.
I want to research it. I really want to research it because me, I try not to really jump on something unless I really know, like, okay, this is what it is. I mean, pardon me in the background. I'm in a hotel right now. I really want to research this, but if she did say that, the fact that
Well,
that was even said, even if it's alleged, it pushed me to really look at the situation with just more of a fine tooth comb. Like, wait a minute, let me really look at this for a second. Let me really think about this because Jen, I mean, you're in the industry, Jen. I know you probably heard either all the stories I heard or you probably heard even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
I
I
got
always say,
$20. She saw some.
Look.
I just say, if I was one of them grimy chicks and I wrote a tell all,
Look,
I would destroy families with the shit
look,
I know.
look, so
Just
look,
give you a
listen,
red table.
some of the things, I guess this is one of the reasons why I look at things from a different lens, because it's like, I don't know. I know certain things that happen from viable sources, and I can't necessarily say, what I mean, because, you know, again, like in the chat, I just said, like, Will pulled the plug on Hawthorne because, again, allegedly, her and Jada and Mark Anthony, yeah, they were getting a little cozy, and Will wasn't really feeling that too tough. You know what I
And Mark
mean?
Anthony be chopping them down. He
I
always got some
mean,
poison queen
I
in his
mean,
blood.
Jennifer Lopez swung the block. She went right back around.
Listen, listen.
That's that, and that dude is like 5'3".
Yeah.
Okay,
J
They
Lo is the greatest orbiter I have ever seen. I'm like, how you just orbit around these successful men like this? Like you can't even grab anybody new. Like you gotta go all the way back around. I'm like, she don't do that
Tristan,
with
Tristan,
Alex
Tristan,
Rodriguez.
Tristan, Tristan. Let me put you on to some game, man. Let me put you on to some game, man. It's just like when you leave a job. You never leave in bad standing, and there's always a door open, man. You never know, man. Don't leave in bad standing, man. People just want to burn a bridge immediately, like, I don't work here no more. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean?
I'm
It's
a
just,
bridge burner. I'm a bridge burner.
I'm not the least bit shocked. You point a
Uh,
nuke at
y-
that motherfucker.
like like
You
everybody's like, oh really? This how
you
shocked
look
everybody was when they heard that. They were just like
like
this.
no, not you,
They're like, oh
no,
no, not
no,
Jen. Oh, Jen's a
no,
bridge burner. Oh my
no.
god. Oh
They're gonna leave me
no.
alone on this Thursday night.
Oh no. Like Jen, where did you get the gas can from? Oh no.
And you know what I mean? So like it's that like look, overall, like what I'm saying, summarize, people gotta learn how to play their positions, man. And that's one of the main reasons why I think a lot of people are having the problems that they're having in the relationships that they're having today. Play your position. Now, here's the thing. If you're asking people to play your position, play their position, just make sure that you're playing your position. You know what I mean? Because if you're asking people, if you're saying that, yo, I'm the leader, I'm the dude, I'm the guy in the front, you know what I mean, making the decisions or whatever it is, well, then make sure that you're making the right, correct decisions. Because if you're not, and if your lady goes in the opposite direction or whatever, maybe that's just a reflection of your poor decision making. You know what I mean? Or you could be doing all the great things, doing all the great work, you know, and she still go off the rails. You can't control people at the end of the day. Some people are just gonna be who they are, man. And I will say this though, you know, I'm looking at Jada a little bit more acutely now. Like, hold up, what do you really? Because I heard some things about you, but what are you really doing over there? You know, and that's really where I am.
So Mr. Haran, let me ask you this. Do you think it's a 90s thing? Because low key Gabrielle Union acts the same way with the husband that has a higher status than her.
Are you like indirectly trying to take an old people jab, man? Is this an ageist? Sounds like ageist.
I'm just
Sounds
saying.
like
I'm just
no,
saying.
Jan. It was like
I'm
this is
just
a
saying.
'90s thing. Like
I'm just
what? It's
saying.
like a '90s thing.
I'm just saying.
That's
Like
why I'm questioning. How do I treat my man?
I'm just saying the
what?
cast from Baps and Set It Off are acting quite similar.
Like
Am I
we like
wrong
we
here?
like Jen. We over here like we invented cheating. Like we invented ain't not being shit in relationships. Like
I'm just
Everybody else
saying,
was
is it
fine
a
until we
'90s
came
thing?
around.
I'm just saying.
Is it a
Jada's trying to
90s thing?
hold on
Well,
to
I will
that
say
set it
this.
off fame for the longest. It's over.
Okay, well, I
It's
will say
over.
this. I will say this. I will say this. I will say this. My personal view I've seen when you talk about women from the 90s and even just people from the 90s, period.
We
You
about to
know,
do this
like,
right now. We about to do this.
no, women from the 90s, I think, and Jen is a prime example of that. I can say this. Women
I'm
from the
listening.
90s tend to be a lot tougher than a lot of guys, modern men that I see nowadays. They're a lot more resilient. They're a lot tougher. You know what I mean? And the men, because of the men they were around were a lot tougher. We were a lot tougher. We were just like I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. I mean, people might look at me crazy. I didn't know a guy could cry until I was about 12. Like I didn't know like what. Like, I grew up in a Jamaican household, an extremely
I
hyper
was
masculine.
27.
I was an extremely masculine, hypersensitive. You know what I mean? Hyper masculine environment. You know what I mean? I didn't really know that was a thing. I thought that was just what women did. You know what I mean? And even then, the women didn't do that much. You know what I mean? But the point to you saying, Tristan, yes, Tristan, women from the 90s tend to be very, I guess, for lack of a better term, very alpha. Yeah, they do. You know what I mean?
Because
If you meet them, they yeah.
yeah, but there's a sense of delusion. Like Jen is not delusional though. I said you got Jada who thinks she's better than her husband, who's the biggest movie star on the planet. Then
Biggest.
Gabrielle Union literally went up to Dwayne Wade with a prenup saying, I'm afraid you're gonna take my money. It's Dwayne Wade. He's $500 million. Who are you?
Did she really?
Well,
Yes.
well, well. I mean, that. And then I never said none of these girls were all sane. I never said that. I mean,
I,
I never
I
said these
mean,
chicks wasn't crazy. I never said that.
I'm
I
not
just
claiming sanity. It's
well,
born.
okay. So
we're still
I
trying to
mean,
figure out how they
all
gave
right,
you a
Jen.
gun license. We're still trying to figure that out. Like, how
See,
do
your
you get
problem
that?
your problem is, Tristan, is that you ask too many questions.
What?
I keep telling you. I keep telling
Listen,
you.
listen,
Don't ask
listen,
questions. Okay,
listen.
listen.
I'm just
That's
drinking some
rule
water.
number one.
I'm drinking this Diet
Rule number
Mountain Dew right
one,
now.
man. The less questions you ask, the less questions you gotta answer, man. Always remember that. Rule number one in life. Whenever
Yeah.
Jen starts talking about her life, I'll be like,
You know, it's crazy. You say that, but then I got a feeling it's gonna be one of those days we all just hanging out, and next thing you know, hey Jen, that's you, and she's like, oh no, mother effer, and then it's just bullets flying, and we don't know
But you
why
just said it
because we
yourself.
refuse to
But you
ask
just
questions.
but you
I
no no
need
no
to
no. But you just said
understand
it
what you are
yourself.
in.
No, you just said it yourself. You said it. We're all hanging out. There's no cameras around. There's nothing for evidence. There's nothing recorded. Then whatever happens is just, hey, look, man, that's just plausible deniability. Look,
I'm
listen,
getting
I'm just a
shot at.
citizen protecting myself. I'm just a citizen protecting myself, and so on and so forth. That's just it, man.
Mm-mm.
That's just it,
Right.
Tristan. Rule number one. True. Rule number one, Tristan. Wherever there's something being recorded, watch what you say, man. Watch what you ask, man.
See,
I
nah,
only
See,
know
nah,
that's old school game right there, Tristan. That's old school game right there.
nah, I'm going full white woman on all of y'all. I'm going full white woman.
Oh, you
I
the
Call
only
first
me,
one telling?
call me Mr. Karen. I'm like, listen, I was sitting there eating some shrimp. Next thing you know, I'm like, there was a Latino and a black man. I said, I don't know. They went that way.
Well, at least you're honest.
I tell all my boys, I said, if they catch me, they caught we. Like, leave
Well,
me
let me
alone.
ask you this. Do you think that have you guys ever cheated on a woman and then she took you back?
When I cheated, she didn't know.
So she never found out?
Nah, she never found out.
Oh,
Tristan.
I think she watches this show. No comment.
Oh, you still with her?
No, I'm not with her, but I shared the streams.
Okay.
I
Hey,
don't
brother. Like I said, brother, I'm not asking questions. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Don't you? That's what we call being a hypocrite.
Uh, hey brother. That,
Do
you
you
said
think
it. I didn't.
do you think you could tell if a woman resented you? Do you think you can tell?
Absolutely. I always tell when a
Yes.
woman resents me. Absolutely.
Really? You think
Absolutely. Yeah,
that you have
absolutely.
the skill to tell?
Women
Yeah,
have one
yeah.
thing.
I don't have a
Women have
plate.
one thing. Women have one thing they can never hide,
What?
and it's the main thing. It's the main way in which they communicate. Women communicate through sound. You can tell
Okay.
how. You can tell. I can always tell if a woman has an issue with me based on how she says my name, based on how she might answer a particular question, just based on the small nuances.
No, she said your
Based on
name.
small
That's how we
nuances.
know. She said our name.
Even that. See that. See,
She's like,
prime
Tristan.
example.
Oh
If she
shit.
says your whole prime example, you know what I mean? It's like little small little things. See, a lot of men miss those. A lot of men miss those things because it's small. It's nuance. The resentment is always nuance. It's not always overt.
Mhm.
It's not a big, huge meat cleaver coming at you in the middle of the night. It's not hot grits coming at you in the middle of the night. It could be. Word to
Mhm.
Al Green. It could be. You know what I mean? But
I'm shocked he
it's not.
still got caught with no smartphones. How you get caught with no smartphones back then? That's crazy.
And
These
he
smartphones
he.
get you. They will get these smartphones will get you every time.
Oh, well, Tristan, I would say this. I mean, look, man, Tristan, the smartphone era really fucked up the game for a lot of y'all. Because I tell people all the time, the only difference between a hoe and a good girl is proof, and that's it.
Yo, yo, no,
Yo,
you did it.
hey,
No.
look,
Oh, I'm
listen,
putting that on a hoodie.
yo, look. I'm just that's $1 million game. I just put you on to, bro.
Yo,
Okay.
that was
The
the
only
most
difference,
pettiest
the
thing I've
only di-
ever heard.
the only difference. I mean, look, man, you can have a woman can, what I mean, from my era. I'm not gonna ask her like, what's your body count? She can tell me anything. I have no way of noticing or even backtracking or whatever. Like she can tell me any number. So does it really matter? Women today who choose to put themselves out there, who choose to have proof that they out there like that, and it's kind of like, well, there's proof on you though. There's
So
documents.
Joanna said the convo is not about a woman being resentful of his career. Jen's point is to stay with a resentful woman is dangerous to your health. Talk about it.
I mean,
I truly
men
believe
die
that.
early. Men die earlier from women. So I mean, women be stressing them out. It seems
That's what
that's the case that they say.
that's what
Women
we
be
think.
I will
stressing them
believe
out.
that. I will agree to that. Well,
Wait, married men live longer.
what happened?
Married men live longer than single men.
Well,
They just die before their wives.
that's just because single men thinking it's okay to be single and going around effing women where you have no order in your life. It makes no
Well,
sense.
actually, I think single men live longer because single men are far more reckless than married men are, most likely.
Reckless leads to them going to jail a lot more.
Uh, It could lead to them going to jail a lot more, health issues, so on and
So,
so forth. If you don't have someone in your ear, a lot of times you don't have someone in your ear talking to you about your health when you're a single man or certain things as a single man. You know what I mean? A lot of things
That's
that women do, you know what I mean? They tell you take your ass to the doctor. You know what I mean? When you're a married man, they women are on you. Women are on you. You know what I mean? When you're a married man, when you're a
that's
single man, you don't give a fuck. If it don't feel like it hurts, it's okay. It's fine. Oh, that's just a little blood in the sputum. Well, we'll be fine next week. No, it'll clear up. You know what I mean? If you think about it, you know what I mean. So as men, you drink heavy, you get behind the wheel, you know you shouldn't. You just do a lot of dumb things. They as they say, married cops make the best cops, as they say, because married cops think before they pull the trigger, as opposed to a
wow.
single, as opposed to a single man who has nothing to lose. Single men have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Married men have something to lose, so they're going to think a little bit more, and they're going to, and having a woman around, if the woman doesn't resent you, and if she isn't causing some sort of emotional turmoil, then yes, you know what I mean, she can be beneficial. But to the point of brought up by Juana, I do believe that yes, she has a point. You know what I mean, being with a woman who is resentful of you, it can only hope to be detrimental to your emotional health, your mental health, and everything in between. It cannot be helpful to you. And the next thing you know, what I've noticed by some men who might be with women who are toxic, who are married to women who are toxic, and they feel that they might be trapped, is that what happens is a lot of these men they develop drinking problems, or they develop all kinds of other substance abuse problems, or they get into affairs, or they do all kinds of other things. Basically, a bunch of other things instead of actually taking care of the problem that essentially is at home.
But
Dr. Barry Bryant.
so,
Hey, how are you guys?
Really, really good. So let me ask you though, do you think that it would behoove a man if he cheats on his wife or his girlfriend once she finds out um that he cheated? Do you think it's best for him to leave the relationship or hang in there and think he could fix it and
Run.
I've been having that sitting there for weeks. I've been waiting for someone to say that.
May I throw something out there? Something
Yes.
that really I don't think we've really considered. I think to the topic, when we talk about does your woman resent you, I think a lot of it where people stay. I gave an example of someone that I know, someone really close to me, really close friend of mine, and he cheated on his then girlfriend constantly. To be perfectly honest, when they were dating, constantly, like recklessly almost, and they got married. Like he decided that he wanted to marry her. They had a kid, and when he thought everything was good, they had a kid, they had a house together, they just bought a house,
Right.
and then she announced in front of our small group of friends that she had cheated on him with another friend of his in their house, in their bed, with their daughter in the other room, asleep.
Jesus.
So
Were they black?
yes.
That's
So
that's
so
them.
his first response was to try to kill her. Luckily, we were there to because I've never seen a human move that fast to get hands around somebody else's neck. And then his second response was to kill a boy who was his homeboy, which we kind of let go a little longer. But the point of that was when you wrong a woman, a lot of times our ego makes us stay. Our ego says, I know what I did, but she won't do that to me because she loves me. She won't do this because she loves me. And when you think that it's just because you think something was allowed to slide doesn't mean that the woman did. That's why I say you have to run, because when you wrong someone, you don't know how deeply you wounded them. And when you wound somebody really deep, the things they'll do to hurt you back, that hell hath no fury, that Medina tale. Is it a Medina? The Medina tale? Yeah. In Greek mythology, I don't always think that everything mythological is mythology. I'm guessing that there was a couple of Greek brothers who had some truth to that. So, I mean, we see it today, women infanticide, kill their kids and, kill the man's kids and wait because she was unhappy, so I think, and I'm not talking about postpartum, I'm talking about getting back at the man. So I think as men, we sometimes, our ego prevents us from doing what our mind tells us to do, which is haul ass. Get out of there as quick as we can. Don't look back.
To Jabari's point, I think that one of the biggest issues that we have as men, a lot of men have, is that we underestimate women. We underestimate women, man. I don't underestimate women. No shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I have been the other man before, and let me tell you something. I have sat there in awe, in complete and utter just amazement at the ability of a woman to get on the phone after you done finished doing what you did with her, to get on the phone with a boyfriend or whatever, whoever the hell, and just sit there with just the softest, kindest tone, and just she has her alibi straight. Everybody's ready to pull the trigger on backing up and corroborating her story just in case shit goes sideways. And I'm just saying to myself, like, see, this is incredible. And this is one of the reasons why you just can't hold anything past. You can't hold anything past a woman who's intent on doing something.
No, not at all.
You cannot. You can't do that, man. You cannot do that. If a woman says, I am going to do this, then you have to be very, very aware and careful what's going on. Like men who have it, man, I'm that dude, man, ain't nothing gonna happen to me, man. You know what I'm saying, man, everything gonna be all right, man. Those are the kinds of dudes who move sloppy. They get their head cut off by the swinging axe that's right by the door the moment they walk in, because they underestimate the entire situation. They miscalculate everything, man. You have to be careful. You have to make sure that like Jabari said, your best bet is to run. Your best bet is to, abort mission, man. Abort mission and just call it what it is, because man, like, I didn't say anything. I didn't, because at the time it was like the relationship was already on the rocks. So I was like, you know what, this shit already out the door anyway. So we got about 5 months left in this anyway. It was like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie, I was at that point ready to just have that goodbye sex. The goodbye sex before you just say,
yeah. That's one.
I remember the goodbye sex. That's funny.
Yeah, you have the goodbye sex. So I pretty much knew that was happening. That was happening between us. The closing, the closing game sex. So it was like, fuck it, let's just do that, and this is going to be over anyway. But if I knew that we were going to be together, and there was a chance at that, I'd have been like, nah, I got to get out of here.
Chef, I think you have
Yeah, I think you got your YouTube on, homie.
Somebody got their YouTube on in the background.
There was an echo a minute ago.
Okay. So I want to let me answer this question real quick, and then Jabari, I got a question for you because I'm curious. Don Levon says, Jen, do you think once a cheater, always a cheater? I don't think once a cheater, always a cheater. I think if you're a cheater or you cheated, you're not built for monogamy. That's what I think. And I think you're just in denial, because it's too easy to look at somebody and say, look, I want to sleep with other people. Like, or you don't do it for me anymore. It's a simple conversation. So I think people want to keep a relationship, but then they cheat. They're just not built for monogamy, but something is holding them, pretending to be monogamous. That's what I feel about that. I don't think it's as simple as once a cheater, always a cheater. I just think some people are not built for monogamy, but they're trying to act monogamous for whatever reason, tradition, or that's how it's supposed to be, or they don't want this woman sleeping with someone else, whatever the reason is, but they are not monogamous, but they're acting monogamous for a certain reason. So that's what I think about that. Welcome, Chef Shapino. How are you, sir?
What's going on? Perfect time to give me the mic, because I kind of want to give a great, pardon me, I got to do the right thing. Peace, my brother, Andre.
What's up, brethren?
What's going on, man? What's going on? And peace to everybody on the panel, Tristan, all the fellas on the panel. Yes, peace to the chat. So I kind of want to give a gentle pushback question to you, Jen. And I'm going to give you
yeah.
a scenario.
Oh.
So I started out in the industry at a very young age. There was a guy, oh, you doing the chef shades? All right. You know what I mean? If I look a little scruffy, mind you, I'm trying to bring my beard back up, man. It was going too low with the shave. I started to look like John B. So I'm trying to get my length back up like the boy ZB and the rest of them. But anyway, you know, I've been in the industry a long time. So I met Pac when we were both teenagers. You know, I was on tour with my best friend, Special Ed, you know, and that was when Pac was still MC New York, when he was carrying bags for Digital Underground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for that piece, you know. I also had the opportunity to date certain people that would have been considered celebrities. So there was one particular celebrity that I dated. She was an actress. She was a mean person. Not to me. She was rather short in terms of the way that she moved, but I saw she was really nasty to other people. Right? And then I ended up meeting one of her friends, co-workers from a particular project she worked on. And what was weird, we were all hanging out, and it was like this person was able to punctuate my sentences. You know, there were certain times where she said things that was like, fuck. And I literally was like, damn, I met the wrong one. You understand? Now, that's one piece, right? That's where.
So you did the Will Smith.
I did not mess with the other one.
Okay.
That's just, I put that in the regret folder, right?
Okay.
What I'm saying is that imagine somebody who's in a relationship, because remember, we have different archetypes. There's some people that are, you know, when they talk about your love languages and stuff, receiving gifts, some are giving gifts. Some are receivers, some are givers. Some women are fixers. I call that Florence Nightingale syndrome, where they want to fix a man, and that man ends up falling in love with the nurse, right? What I'm saying is that there's certain people that are in relationships, and the other person is the one that is tipping the scales a little more in terms of control and all of that. But that person is a good soul. And then after they're getting abused and run over, you know, and treated bad, and then somehow this other person from wherever they meet, it could be somebody that bags groceries at the grocery store. You remember when the ladies say, it's like, yo, I look like this, and then he left me for some busted chick that worked at the dollar store. What
showed him attention?
What that quote unquote busted chick lacked in physical appearance, it was amplified in terms of the peace and the level of emotion they were able to bring from that person. Mm-hmm. If I consider a person as being abused within their relationship, of course they're going to fall in love with the cop that rescues them from getting their ass beat. It's natural. It's Florence Nightingale syndrome. So at some point, if we look at it like that, that part of the cheating is a little different. It's a little different to me. If you are being emotionally, verbally abused, financially abused, where he got the bread and he's gonna not give you anything, you know, when he's pissed off at you, and you have the children, and then there's some guy who you met at the grocery store. He makes 8 times what your husband makes, no children, but he sees some value in you. And he can bring you out of that. But not even that. He talks to you in a certain way. And you know you're a woman, he makes you feel a certain way. Forget money, all the other things. He makes you feel a certain way. It's not hard. So that person, some people, when they cheat, that person who they're cheating with is not some other person. It's actually freaking medicine. Somebody is showing them that you ain't a piece of shit. I'm imagine somebody that thinks that's been with somebody that's treating them like a piece of shit, and then they meet a guy who's better than the guy she's with, and he's pedestalizing her. Imagine. That's like a drug. That's more than 1 million likes on Instagram. Super dopamine rush. So some of it is clinical, man. So that's what I say. That one right there is a little different to me. Thank
No,
you
That's
for
how I feel about my chicken sandwiches.
that's definitely different. Super chat break, and then I'm gonna respond to Chef, and then I know Andre, I know you have something to say. Jabari, I still got that question for you. Super chat break, Il Doctrine, thank you for the super chat. He says love is important, not as one of our feelings, but as the transfer of all our interests in life form ourselves to another. Let me read that again. But as the transfer of all our interest in life form ourselves to another. Vladimir Solovyov. Somebody's gonna have to break that down for me. My brain is fried right now. Okay, so Chef, yes, that's a very ideal situation. So I have to agree with that. But yeah, and still, you don't think that that woman, and I know it more than likely is not going to happen because humans are going to human, we don't communicate. But you don't think that that woman has the opportunity and the chance to go to that guy who's being horrible and say, "I'm done with you. I can't do this anymore. I'm out," before the cheating takes place.
Yes, the opportunity always exists, but guess what? What happens with the guy that gets the woman out of the abusive situation? She's not going to go to the abuser and say, "Hey, Johnny from 22nd Street, he's about to rescue me from your ass. So I'm just giving you a heads up." It doesn't work like that, you know? And when we sit down now, since the infamous slap, and we sit down and we look, and we start to review and look at all of the information, and then see the tapes and understand what type of stimulus Willard Smith Willard Smith was having and going through, and then you start to realize, wow, wow. Once you see all of that stuff, you see it in a different form and fashion. You see what I put up there with about him versus Pac and Jada. It was crazy. It almost feels like their dynamic was a sugar daddy, sugar baby dynamic. Why? She needed him for her survival. However, I believe that she resented him because she needed him for her survival and her status. Because, of course, and no disrespect, I understand thespians around the world, right? And I know you're an actress as well. So I'm going to say it in a respectful fashion. She recognized the current trajectory of her career, and she recognized the factors. And I believe that if you think about it, really, he did not make a life for himself being her husband. At some point, the trajectory of her career after The Matrix, the foundation was her being his wife. And then at some point, everything starts to break down. And what she continued to do was make him look more and more human when people had him on the high pedestal. Why? I believe it was emotional competition that happens in relationships. Emotional competition. She's bringing him down so that even though she may feel here and he's up there, she's doing things to humanize him. I'm not going to talk about what took place with the children because that's a whole nother Jen on the Block show, but straight up.
Do you think that's what that whole red table thing was about? Because I feel like that's where most of the information was divulged. Like that's where I started looking at Will differently. When she started talking about their person, I was like, wow, I never knew that about Will, and so that's how he feel. Like, do you think that red table was purposely done? Just speculation. Do you think that she used it as a tool to do what you just said?
Yes. Now, do I think that all of it was consciously done to do that. Not necessarily, you know, because that red table talk, there's somebody that had the little, what you call it? They called it the coffee table talk, or the upside down plate talk, right? I learned about that from one of my homies. They do when him and his lady would have the upside down plate talk, they could say what they wanted to say and nobody was able to get angry. And what would happen is that was the opportunity for true expression to come out without the fear of retribution, retaliation, emotional bribery or emotional extortion. You could say whatever the F you want to say. So when they did the red table talk, I was like, oh, okay, that probably came from a concept that she and her family or either them had, where it's like, yo, when we sit here and talk about this, you can't get mad. It's like a rank out battle. It's like playing the dozens game when you really playing it. So I think it was an opportunity for her to say what she was saying. They're two different people, man. They are two different people, two different types of people. And sometimes we don't always marry the people that are people. We marry the ideal. We marry the ideal. And sometimes we marry who we want them to be or who they believe they can be at some day. And then we try to help them to that place. But sometimes it's a bad investment. You know?
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Can I push back just a little? I agree with 90% of what he said. The only thing
Now, I want my 10%.
Oh, well, here it is. When Jada had a career, like when Will and Jada got together, like Jada was still doing movies. She wasn't doing good movies, but she was doing like hood good movies. Like she was still earning. It's not like she put her career on the back. Like Eva Mendes, for example, put her career on the back burner, went out, had Ryan Gosling's kids. You know what I'm saying? Like she made a conscious effort. F this, I'm about to be this man's wife, period. And there are other actresses that, say flat out, I'm taking a hiatus to be a Jennifer Beal was the same way. The fact is, and Jada kept trying to do her thing. I think she fizzled out. And I think as she fizzled out and Will gained steam, I think it was Will gained steam whether she backed him or not. Whether she was there for him or not, he was gaining steam and he was becoming bigger and bigger. And at the same time, she got to the point where her roles were always, oh, Will Smith's wife is in this movie. I mean, and let's be fair, she's not 1/100th the actor that Will is. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Jada can't act. I'm gonna throw it out there. Jada can't act.
I gotta ask you a question, Jabari. You're presenting something very interesting right here. Okay, so what are you saying? Are you saying that Will Smith would have been Will Smith even without Jada? Jada knows that, and maybe that's a part of the resentment. Because we can sit here and say that. I think we can sit here and say and all contend that Barack Obama would not have been Barack Obama without Michelle Obama. Let's just call it what it is. You know
exactly.
What I mean? And there's a number of successful dudes who their wife was a very central key to their success. Okay, I would agree to that because I will agree that Will Smith would have been Will Smith without Jada. Yes, I will agree to that, and that is an interesting point to make. Please continue.
Will had a
I'm so sorry. Right, exactly. Just before I forget, Jen, to break down what you were asking earlier about Vladimir's quote, it means that we are all the sum of our experiences. So love is essentially sharing your total experiences with the person that you so choose to. If that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Yes, because my brain is fried, so I was trying to put the words together and I'm trying to read. I'm a little tired, but I was like, okay, good. Got it. I understand now. So I agree with that. Will was going to be Will. But as far as Jada, Jada, she's not a horrible actress. Like she's not.
Yeah, she's horrible.
Not Viola Davis, but she's not Lana Anthony either.
Yeah, she's that bad. She's horrible.
She's
Like
not.
I gotta bring my sister out. I have to bring my sister to break down how terrible she is in every single role. Like she can go role by role, every role, and break down how horrible an actress she is.
What
Like
is
horrible.
I got to say this.
Is she in the industry?
Because Jen, you're the actress. You are the one with the expertise here, right?
I dissect actors all the time. So give it to me.
Sometimes the director, many times, it's not just about the actress. It's about the director and the person who wrote the screenplay and the person who created it that can bring a certain thing out of that particular person. And I think, sometimes think about how many movies where you had, celebrities that couldn't really act, but there were certain things that the director was able to bring out of them in certain ways, so sometimes it's about the stimulus that you provide to be able to get, that counter stimulus back from that person, right?
Okay, easy. Derek Luke, being directed by Denzel and Antoine Fisher.
Yeah.
I had never seen Derek Luke prior to Antoine.
He worked at the Disney store. Right. He worked at the Disney store.
Him act at that level before or after Antoine Fisher, and he's been in plenty of movies before and after, but I've never seen him hit that range until he was being directed by Denzel Washington. Same thing with Jennifer Lopez. We already know she can't act, but when she was being directed by Mark Anthony in El Cantante, Mark Anthony was not having it, and she looked like an actress for the very first time. And what I feel is her acting career, but I haven't seen her do that before El Cantante or after. I think with Jada, of course, she's not a Viola Davis. It's not even played dumb, but she hasn't even been in a role that shows range. She's always been in a role that she's played Jada. She's Jada everywhere she goes. I'd like to see her in a role with some meat on it, so then I could say, yeah, she couldn't reach, she couldn't get there.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, real quick, since we're talking about acting, and you know what I mean, not to go off topic, but did you see how did you see Snowfall, the current episode of Snowfall? Did you see Damon killed?
No! Spoiler alert!
I'm on episode 2.
I'm muting my
shit. Walk in with the spoilers. Coming in with the spoilers.
I asked if you saw it.
Leave me alone.
Wait a minute. I asked if you saw the current one. No,
I haven't. I thought you meant the current season.
Oh my God, no. All right, forget it. See, now, I'm sorry, y'all.
I didn't hear it all the way, so I didn't hear it all the way.
All right. Well, I didn't. I'm not gonna say anymore. I don't know if there's other Snowfall fans in there. If there's other Snowfall fans in here, I'm not gonna go any further. But Damon, this season, Damon completely kills it this season.
Okay.
Completely kills it this season. The next season is supposed to be the final season.
I'll be looking out for it. I think that I think Jada's, she's part of the chitlin circuit. She's like there with Megan Good, and you know what I mean. And
hey, Megan Good is that woman is a thespian. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to sit there and look at a man with his ass cheeks in the air and actually, you know what I mean.
Well, how do you know?
I don't. That's why I said it must take a lot. No, but I don't. She had that. It was interesting. There was speculation, and that was the reason why her husband wanted the divorce, because she had that particular scene with the dude where, you know what I mean, in that new show of hers, and he wasn't taking too kindly to that.
Wow. Well, it's a hell of a scene. I saw it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't as crazy as the scene that that Jada did with Mark Anthony in that show that she was in. What was it, Dr. Hawthorne?
Yeah, see, I only watched like I watched the beginning. I didn't watch it. It got boring to me. So
Let me tell you this.
Oh, so she had a crazy scene with him. She had a crazy scene with him.
To me, when look, I swear to you,
Oh,
you can do.
okay.
Here you go, Jen. This is my gift to you. Bendiciones. Pull up Mark Anthony, Jada, Dr. Hawthorne. When I tell you that scene was probably the most specific in terms of motion and body, to the point where, now watch this, I'm gonna do some acting. They were there and she was straddling him, and at one point you seen his chest go like this, and then you saw her go like this, and then you can actually, without them showing money shots, you can actually, it looked like they were actually doing it. That scene, like, I literally say, yo, this is a married woman. It blew my freaking mind. Google it. Google it.
Well, maybe that's what.
look, I'm on it right now.
I know. Listen,
Maybe that's what.
cool, man.
Maybe that's what Will had a problem with, because Will did have a. They said Will had a problem with him and her in that show. So
Bro,
maybe they
that
really
scene,
did.
that scene was like the most erotic that I've seen, and I'm not a young dude.
Well, the
mean-
kiss alone. I mean, I'm
mean-
thinking about the kiss, and I'm like, the kiss alone is.
Yo,
Well, maybe they
I'm
practiced.
gonna
They
be
probably
50 in
practiced.
August, yo, and I seen a lot. That
They
was
probably
heavy.
practiced before the
Watch.
scene.
Say it
That's
again. I'm
crazy.
sorry.
I said they probably practiced before the scene. You never know. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man.
Bro, I swear to you, if somebody said they were really doing it, I would believe it.
Andre was like, they probably did practice. He over here like,
Listen,
Well, I mean, it look. Wow, this is the best acting I've seen her do.
And they did it on like a
Oh,
freaking ice cooler or something like that. They were sitting on like a freaking thermos, a big ice cooler or something to that effect. That scene right there, yo.
I didn't know this was going on Hawthorne.
Yeah, that's that FX stuff. They, that's cable TV, so it's not like NBC. They get, they can cuss.
I never knew that she had a sex scene at all. Wow, this is interesting. I've never seen her this way.
Look, and listen. If I want everybody that's watching the show to pay attention and look at the blushing faces Jen is making right now, for y'all to know how heavy that scene is.
I'm not blushing. I'm a little like, wow. I've never seen Jada like go here. But Mark Anthony will. I'm telling you, Mark Anthony, he'll bring it out of you.
Yeah, but I mean, the ladies
is that
know.
right?
And
Is
Mark
that right,
Anthony,
Jen?
that dude.
Huh?
Is that right, Jen?
That I saw him do it with Jennifer Lopez. I've never seen her at that level since El Cantante.
Aguadilla.
Oh.
Yeah.
Andre, what do you have for us? You've been very, very patient.
I was letting the gentleman get it all out. Get back to your topic. Does your lady resent you? And a couple of things that you guys talked about tonight. So I took some notes down real quick. This, first of all, this was needed not only for Will, not just for Will. It was needed for many individual couples in communities that are in this situation, such as Will, and his just so happened to show up publicly. But we know there are a lot of individuals that we know in our communities that are going through this and having this conversation right now. Like the one brother said, turn the plate over conversation. And that's real. I've been hearing about that conversation, turn the plate over on the kitchen table and y'all have that conversation. I actually had that conversation in a relationship a few years back. I knew that I was going to move to another country. I had been with this person for a while. Excellent relationship. This was long before I met my wife and moved here to South America. But I knew I wasn't going to continue lying to this person. I wanted them to go find who they need to be with. So I had to be honest. And even though it was a lot of tears that were shed that night at that kitchen table, that person is happily married right now. I'm happily married. So sometimes there comes a point in time where you do have to have that kitchen table talk, that plate turned over conversation. And I think in our communities right now, this is what's taking place. we have to have a reset if this person doesn't want to be with you, or if this person doesn't respect you. How much longer do you need to hang off in there? Men quite often
I'm sorry to interject. What's the plate upside down conversation, so people know, so I know, because I never heard of it.
Oh, that was the thing that I was explaining when I said the red table talks.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's certain times where you have those conversations with your spouse, your mate, your lover, your boyfriend, where you guys could ask questions and discuss things, and the other person can't get angry. So one of my homeboys said that they have the thing where it's the plate turned over conversation, where they sit at the table and they have the plate turned over. And at that point, that's that conversation where you can get out certain feelings and the person can't hold it against you.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what I did. I actually literally did that
for a company. Right. There's certain things we do called calibrations, where we actually go through certain situations, review certain documents, you know, listen to certain calls that may have taken place in meetings, and then we calibrate on what we think is right and wrong. But part of the rules is that we can't hold that person accountable for what took place within that interaction. You know, it's almost like safe space rules. So now you could say whatever the F you want to say.
Right.
They cannot hold it against you. So the plate flipped over is just a metaphor where you sit at the table, the plate's up, but the plate flipped over. When you having those talks, that's the red table talks. And I heard of red table talk. I heard of the coffee table talk was the one that I heard before. But it's literally a metaphor for that space where basically it's the say whatever the fuck you want to say conversation, and your punk ass can't get mad.
Okay.
But do we think that's realistic? I mean, I'm sorry to interject. Do we really think that that's realistic? I mean, you're a human being.
Actually, it is.
I can't do
When
it.
somebody says something,
I did it.
no, I'm not talking about in business. I'm not talking about when you're trying to leave a relationship.
I'm not talking about in business either. I'm talking about in a genuine, strong relationship. I didn't want to stay in. That I didn't want to stay in any longer. And
no, I mean that you no. That's what I'm saying. You think these types of conversations work in a relationship that you actually want to stay in?
Yes.
Yeah. And my wife, my wife and I have those conversations all the time.
Really?
She could be 100%. Why do you think my relationship is strong? Because I allow her and she allows me to have an honesty. Do I want to know everything? No. But there are certain things that are important. We talk about everything from cheating to lying. What would you do in this situation if I cheated? How would I handle this situation if you cheat? We have these type of conversations because we don't want to end up with stuff bottled up and end up in a Smith situation. So while we're a young couple, not being young people, but a young couple, we realize we don't have any kids together, so we don't have any kids running around to worry about. Let's grow together as a unit. So when the kids do come together, and we often do, like the brother say, with calibration, the question that we asked 2 years ago, we'll ask it again today, because she's a totally different person from 2 years ago. I'm a different person from 2 years ago, but that question may still apply. But now, as far as how the brother is wording it, I agree with them in regards to most couples ain't got the balls to do that, to sit down with honesty with each other and not lie. But I'm going to tell you the catalyst of what made me be able to do that was when I was in the States and I had that turn the plate over conversation with the person I was with. And I knew I was lying. Andre, you travel too much. You love the world. Even though this person is a good person, a wonderful person, you are holding her back. She's beautiful. She's half black, half Irish. She's got the build. She's got the curly hair, all the stuff that most brothers would just say. Successful in her career, great mom, spiritual person, great travel partner. But at the end of the day, this person wasn't the it person for me. And I was lying. And then I could do like a lot of dudes would do, deny it and keep that person because I don't want the next man to get that good loving from that person. So now I'm lying to myself all those years. But because I didn't lie to myself when I was in the States and I had the balls to sit down and talk to that woman, be honest, and let her shed her tears and let her ask all the questions why. And I honestly answered those questions. Now, years later that I'm in a relationship with a woman, I have already mastered the art of I can be honest with a woman because out of the States, because I learned to be honest with a woman in the States.
But that was a breakup conversation you had, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of like, this is why we can't move forward because
right. And I had to be honest. And I'm sitting up here all these months going by and I'm lying to myself. I'm lying to her. Yeah, baby, we're gonna be together. And I'm thinking to myself, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't a tempestuous breakup in the sense of like she did something wrong and I did something wrong. I just knew that, Andre, you continue to lie. How long are you gonna lie to yourself, dude? You are not gonna be living in this country. And so stop being selfish and allow this woman to have the blessing that she deserves from the man that she needs to have here in this country. Now, fast forward, it's easier for me to have those type of conversations, which Will and Jada should be having, the turn of the plate over conversations quite often, not on camera in front of on the red table. I can do that now because I practiced it with, in other words, being honest with myself and allowing the other person to be honest with themselves prior to my marriage. And that's what my point is. So when the brother says in real world, there are a lot of couples that are having this conversation that we're all having on this panel right now. Should we be together or should we not be together? Because I'm tired of you.
Let me ask you this. I mean, not to be all in your business, but we're all curious. It's the first time I'm hearing about the turn the plate over thing. What can you divulge that's really serious that could break up a relationship that you've discussed with your wife that you could share with us? Because we're not trying to be all in your business. But what have you discussed that you can share with us that would cause turmoil otherwise, a couple not talking about that?
I give you a perfect example. How would she handle it? Because my wife is way younger than I am. So how would she, even though she's the old soul of the marriage, right? How would she handle if something happens to me physically? Would she leave me? Would she cheat on me? Would she Because you want to know. What if something happens to her physically and she ends up in a wheelchair because she'd be driving car accident, God forbid? We talk about those situations. What about if economically I just fall off, everything falls apart, and I got to go back to the States to make some more money or take an online job here? Our brand just falls apart. All of our business ventures just fall apart. Will you still be there? Will you? Those type of. What about cheating? Do you get tempted? Do you ever get tempted to be out there with somebody else? I know I do at times. Most couples ain't got the balls to talk about the fact that she's human and he's human, and that they can talk about temptations. A lot of times a woman, you say that to your woman, oh, so you want somebody else? Oh, so that's what you're trying to ask me? And you may not even go on that route, but you just want to have human interaction or human conversations that we all go through. We all see somebody in the gym that's like, dang, if I wasn't with somebody, but we all dance with some, in South America, everybody's dancing bachata, merengue, salsa. So if you can be dancing with somebody and next thing you know, they looking at you like, I've had women coming to me like, listen, I'm married. I got an hour before I need to be back home from the club. And I'm like, I'm married. She said, I saw your ring already. I'm like, I'm not talking about gorgeous, but I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude because I learned to be honest with self in the States. It's easier for me to be honest in the relationship that I'm in now.
And there's never any emotion. There's never a little tinge of emotion. Like, really, you would cheat?
No.
Really?
And the reason why, because I'm honest, and I tell my wife this, and I tell everybody that in regards to Andre, I come from a family of addictive behavior patterns. In business, we're addicted. When it comes to drugs, we got family members that are addicted, alcohol addicted. Me, it was women. I'm not a dude to cheat with one. 61, 71, yeah. 81, 101, yeah. So since I discovered that self about self, I know not to lie to self about, well, it'll just be this one time. But I can have that conversation. I've had this conversation with my wife. How many dudes do you know can sit down and tell their wife, baby, it ain't gonna be no one if I cheat? If you may find out one, but that was 61. Most dudes ain't got the balls to talk like that. And so since we have the openness to talk like that, And she tells me about, okay, what would be her temptation, or what would draw her, or what type of dude is her type of dude, height, look, we can have those conversations to where most couples hold it in. We try to pretend like we're so perfect, and none of us are. And then when something happens, a lot of times just conversation could have helped it out long before it took place. Statistics show over 85% of all affairs take place in the workplace. 85% of all affairs is somebody smashing somebody that they met at work.
Jabari, what do you think? Has he convinced you those conversations are realistic?
The type of conversation he's talking about, yeah, that's a hypothetical.
You went out, Jabari.
They don't want them to be great.
Jabari sounded like he was about to drop something too.
Are you there?
Right. I was ready.
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
we hear you now, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the hypothetical conversation is a lot easier than that's not the conversation I thought we were talking about. I'm talking about the conversation. Yeah, I had sex with your cousin and not lie about it. You know, what I'm saying is my idea of this, my concept of that, what you guys are talking about is it's not a hypothetical. It's a person can ask you any question and you're honest with each other, and you walk away from that honesty because you're honest in that moment and say, you know, yeah, I had sex with your friend before we got together.
You talking about confessions?
Exactly. But that's what these are.
Like, but
what's wrong with that?
He's a priest. And they said, I want.
No.
Like your wife becomes a priest.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's an issue with honesty. I'm brutally honest, but I believe that there are. To say that just because you tell a person or just because you say what you say here, you know, once we flip this back over, you know, no one can be penalized for it. I think that once you talk about those things are different when it comes to hurt, when it comes to real hurt, when you actually hurt someone with something that you say. I think to expect them to you flip the table and it all goes back to normal is unrealistic. You can be honest as you want in a relationship, but when you hurt someone, you hurt someone. And right. No flipping the table over is going to change that, or is going to stop that person from having, even if it's subconscious, a subconscious response to you. Even if you say, even if everybody agrees that, all right, this is a hall pass. A hall pass moment.
That's not now. This is with grace and respect and deference, Jabari. I want to make sure we don't. I'm only interrupting because I don't want you to go too far.
No, that's fine, bro. That's fine.
So what I'm stating is this: it's not about giving a hall pass or allowing somebody off. It's the true part of the exercise is for the person listening. It's for you getting the opportunity to hear some shit you would have never heard before. It doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to make a decision. What it is you just don't have the right within that dynamic to shit on them, to scream on them, to make them feel bad for what they're saying. What you're doing is allowing yourself an opportunity to hear whatever their heart is truly speaking. Whatever happens after the fact can still happen after the fact. No one says you can't hold them accountable for what they did or said. What it is that in this opportunity, you have the opportunity to allow that person's mind and heart to speak to you. You allow them the opportunity to give you the history on shit that you had no clue about, that they could have took to the grave with them, and you wouldn't have known nothing. So what it does is it puts you in a better position. I'm going to give a tiny anecdotal story. Mimi, my ex, I graduated high school. She was 2 years behind me. I went to college all of a sudden, and she was like my best friend. Her family loved me and everything. Went to college, and there was a girl named Abiola, right? She spoke, we were intellectuals. She quoted things that I read. It was so weird. And I started feeling guilty that I was feeling drawn to this person. My first ever flipped over plate or red table talk or coffee table talk took place with Mimi. And I told her, yo, I don't understand what's going on. Like, it's weird. I'm getting attracted to Abby. It's like the stuff that I be talking about when you was like, yeah, I got to read a million books to understand what you're doing. She's quoting them books. I talked to her parents, and what was so weird, they understood. And they loved the hell out of me because they was like trying to tell Mimi, she was like, they said his mind is in a different place, but he loves you and he doesn't want to hurt you. So I literally said, I got to fall back and I broke up with her, not because I was with this other person. We didn't get together. I felt guilty at how I was so starting to become emotionally, intellectually attached to this college chick. And it was making me feel guilty about being with her. That was my first ever flip over the table talk. The thing is, we have to be able to do it. But yes, it comes with consequences. But the thing is, that situation is the thing that allows you to get the shit off your chest without interruptions, without deflections, without throwing stuff, without fighting. And if I hear something in that conversation from her that I don't like and it turns my heart over, you know what I say? Thank you, Jesus. Because I gave her the opportunity to tell me some shit that I would have never heard. If you know what I'm saying, I would have never heard. So it's a help. I believe it's a help.
The other thing about
let me say this. I can respect it, right? I can totally respect it. I would recommend it. And I see both sides. It's just with there's a lot of feedback from somebody on. Okay, I think it was Haran. He's outside. I understand both sides, but I'm like, I understand what Jabari's saying. Because let's just say, for shits and giggles, I'm doing a turnover plate with a man I'm with. And I'm like, hey, have you ever been attracted to any girl in my circle or any relative? And he says, yeah, your cousin, whatever, your cousin Candy. Right? It's great that we communicated, but I'm like, I'm going to feel a ways after that. Like, I don't think I can come back from that. You know what I mean? It's great we communicated, but I think it's also a great way, you know, like what you said, Chef, should I go forward in this? Do I feel comfortable knowing this now? I don't think I would.
It's okay. Let me say one thing. I promise I'll be less than 12 seconds. It's okay, Jen, but that's the difference between you feeling like, I'm glad I know this shit, and then you leave, as opposed to you burning all of his shit. And that's the key. The thank you that I was able to get this out of this motherfucker, or I didn't find out 8 years later. And that's the piece.
That's what my story was with the chick in the States. I was able to, instead of dragging it out to where we had a tempestuous breakup and now I'm free and she's free, I was able to be honest with her and she was honest with me, and then we're able to get past it by way of conversation. Now we cool to this day. That's how I was able to know that she had gotten married and happy and things like that. But what if I had not had that conversation? And before the other brother speaks, a lot of times we take conversations when we're on YouTube and we always swing the pendulum to the extreme. A lot of times with the conversations of our version of Red Table or the turn the plate over conversations, it's not necessarily have to be an extreme or juicy tidbit information moment. It could just be something simple that, babe, I need to talk to you about something, or babe, I got something on my mind that's been on my heart a couple months. We need to sit down and have this conversation. So it doesn't have to be like, tomorrow we're about to break up, or somebody cheated, or I saw your cousin that's so with a fine big booty. It could just be something simplistic that in a relationship as a couple we need to discuss. Let me let the other brother that wants to speak.
Haran?
Yeah, I definitely, you know, sitting back and I'm hearing a lot of the a lot of what the gentlemen are saying. I think I'm leaning a little bit more so towards what Jabari is saying. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, Okay, I understand. It's great to sit down and we have a discussion about certain things and so on and so forth that might turn into something else somewhere later down the line. But I think something should be said about we don't have to talk about everything. You know what I
You
mean?
think
Like
so?
Of course.
we don't necessarily have to talk about everything. I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely. I agree with that
you
100%.
you can provide, we can turn the plate over, we can have an honest, human, mature discussion, but we cannot control the responses, however well controlled it might seem on the surface of the other person. You don't know what's going through that other person's mind. You know what I mean? They might appear like, oh yeah, it's cool, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But then, somewhere down the line, certain cracks in the relationship might, fall apart. Might open up due to the fact that, yeah, you wanted to be completely honest one night, and it wasn't necessarily necessary. I tell people all the time, if you want to see two
You
people,
can't handle the truth.
look, man, I tell people all the time, if you want to see two couples tell the truth, go to divorce court, and that's the truth.
What's wrong with
Everybody
the
telling the
truth,
truth.
though?
Everybody
Amen.
telling the truth there. Everybody telling the truth in there unapologetically. That's what I'm saying, unapologetically.
It's
You
a,
know
it's
what I
a
mean?
thin
Usually,
line. It's a thin
you know what I
line.
mean? Usually outside of that space, sometimes even as men, sometimes we try not to we try to be honest, but we don't want to be hurtful. You know what I mean? We don't want to be
True.
hurtful. We don't want to be, sometimes as men, and I will say that personally, what I mean, from my personal experiences. Sometimes as men, I've allowed things to go on a little bit longer than they should have because I just didn't want to hurt the girl. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And I let things
You
drag
helping
on
her?
a little bit. You know what I
Did you
mean?
actually help her?
Actually, looking back at it, I don't think I was necessarily helping her. I think I was necessarily helping myself because I just didn't want to, deal with the situation. To be completely frank with you, I probably convinced myself that, oh, I'm just looking out for her. But in reality, I probably was just used to what I was receiving from this woman, and I still wanted it to go. And that's the truth. Or there probably were times where I really just didn't want to hurt the woman. But the point of the matter is that, there were times in my life, in relationships where I could have just, put the brakes on certain things. But to let there are certain things that I believe that if you have certain pieces of information, and if you let the genie out that bottle, no matter how well intentioned, no matter how pure in heart, I don't know, man. It might
Just
not
gonna
do what
blow it
you
up.
think it's gonna do. I don't
But
I
the
don't think it's
truth.
gonna do what you think it's gonna do.
But
Right, but how can we
then you go.
deny the truth? Does that the
You
truth
know,
is the light, my brother? And the fact that me saying, "Damn, hey, hey," once you have that conversation, there's gonna be things that We didn't say that you can't hold them accountable after. We didn't say that you can't go and make your move. But how can I go and deny the truth? Remember, I'm not just talking about how I feel to that person. I'm giving that person free reign to feel comfortable enough to talk their business, which means that I am the antithesis of ignorant. I want to take it on whether I like it or not. And what that does is it makes me a wiser person. You know what I mean?
Well,
Why wouldn't I
the funny
create a
thing about the
dynamic
truth,
for that person to tell me exactly how they feel? I don't want to be deluded. I don't want to be in denial. You
the
get what
funny
I'm
thing
saying?
about the word the truth, I understand where you're coming from, but the funny thing about the word the truth, no matter how we like to stand on the shoulders of the truth most of the time, at the end of the day, in all relationships and in all marriages, there's always going to be secrets. There's always going to be
You
something
think?
you don't
You
know.
think?
All marriages have secrets. All people have
Are
secrets.
you married?
Everybody has secrets.
Are
Everybody
you
has
That's
married?
secrets.
embracing
No, I'm
dysfunction.
not married.
Have you ever been married?
No.
Okay. As a married man, I have
Hmm.
to agree with what he said, but not how he said it. I'll repeat that. I agree with what he said about secrets, but how he coined it, how he said it, as if they had something that they were trying to hold back. A lot of
Oh well,
times
no, no.
a lot of times in marriages, you decide on what truths you want to share with each other as a couple. Like Andre and I, we have decided she don't want to know my body count. I don't want to know hers. We've talked about this. That's not us keeping a secret per se. We've talked about that's not going to help us as a relationship, your body count. Now, one thing we did do, I want you to, first thing she said, I want you to go get a checkup. I said, cool. I want you to go get a checkup. We both came with our health papers, and then the intimacy took place. So the body count part didn't mean anything to us compared to, are you healthy? Am I healthy? Good. Let's do this thing. So we decide on what truths we wanted. So it's not necessarily we're trying to keep a secret. We don't go through each other's phones because I got so many dudes in travel groups that are in my phone. They send all type of stuff through the phone. So she'd be like, your boys always send all the women they meet in all these countries is in your phone. So she already knows. So she say, I left my phone here and went back to the States a few months ago. All my other boys, like, oh my God, I tell them to turn the plane around. I would tell them that I would pay the taxi driver 12 times. I already knew. We had already decided on the truth of, I'll never go through your phone. You'll never go through mine. She said, I'm not about to go through your phone and mess my head up. I said, I'm not about to go through your phone and mess my head up. So my point is, in marriage, you have to come to the conclusion of which truths you want to expose. And so you're not necessarily keeping secrets, but as a couple, you're deciding that every truth is not healthy or will not take your relationship to a level that
is the exact point I'm trying to make. That's the exact point I'm trying to make. Like,
great.
Okay, you great. You know, there's certain things you don't want to know about your lady. There's certain things that you don't want to know about your guy. Now, of course, you know what I mean. You don't want it to be a piece of information that could be detrimental to you going down the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a kleptomaniac and I just stole like a good $100,000 from the Russian mafia. Exactly. I got the Russian mafia looking after me. But we're gonna be all right though. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, no,
listen, everybody's gonna tell the truth. If this little Latina woman come with this AK-47, son, everybody's in here saying all this. Oh, I'm only gonna say certain truth. Look at this. She has an AK-47. You see that? Everybody's gonna start telling the truth. Okay, that's how it's gonna go down. That's Jen. And my question is, that's not legal in the States. Where she get it from, Haran? See, you talking about don't ask questions.
I'm still asking questions, brother. You still asking questions,
my man. She has a whole pen pack right here, son. Not only she gonna put bullets in you, she can kick your ass and outrun you, son. It's crazy.
Jen, before I forget,
you know what I think? I think a man in a true health. I think Jen is the type of, if I'm not mistaken, Jen, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the type of woman that's if she's when she's in a truly healthy relationship that's healthy for her and her partner doesn't have to even consider or worry about that side about her. I give a perfect example. A lot of my wife's family, you know, she's Scorpio, and a lot of them be like, is Andre like this, or is a personality strong? I'm like, no, she's never like that around me. I've never seen that. And they like, well, she's like this, you know, fire. And I'm like, I've never seen that in my wife. So when you're in a healthy situation, you never have to worry about or consider and that's what I meant about a lot of times on YouTube. We swing, as a Libra, I notice it. We swing that pendulum of the AK and the wildness and the tempestuous Jen. But I believe that Jen, in a healthy, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, in a healthy point counterpoint discussion, because you know you'll have moments where you don't agree and disagree. But if it's at the end of the day, you know that the healthiness will come back or rise to the top after a conversation or even a disagreement. I don't think Jen is the type to be like, and I got this, and the guy will have to worry about it. And I've been in other relationships where people considered the other person just this strong woman person. And with me, they were the sweetest, nicest people I have ever been with. And I think that's, in my eyes, that's the Jen that I see, is that person that in a healthy scenario, most women want to have the same peace that us men want to have.
Yes.
I want peace instead of bullets, of course.
Jen,
it's all jokes.
You're absolutely right. Because I've been in relationships with a certain individual, and that person wouldn't recognize me in a relationship with this other individual. They'll be like, she's crazy today. And this person will be like, no, she's not. Like, Jen likes communication. Jen likes talking. So you're absolutely right. But I can adjust very quickly. And, the picture that Tristan put up. If it's a bad situation and I
That's
have
not the
it,
that's not the picture with your ex knows of, is it, Jen?
which
Your
one?
ex, the picture that Tristan is showing up. That's
That was my ex after he lied to me. They took that picture.
you see, Andre, see why certain truths need not be told.
Listen, I knew it was in my phone somewhere. I'm
And
why
like,
you
9
keep-
times
I
out of
have
10
the
was probably a lie that
perfect
she already
photo.
knew the answer to, but she probably was giving him a chance to tell the truth. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of times women will give us a chance just to tell a truth.
That is
And
the
we will
truth.
sit up there, and
I
a
will
lot of
concur.
times women will get mad because we will look them right in the eyes and tell a bare-faced lie because we think, well,
This is the
I
truth.
gave her money and I gave her orgasms. I know she gonna believe whatever I gotta say. And a woman will get ticked off the most because you had the audacity to look me in my face, and I've been knowing the truth for weeks, and you lied anyway. That's a lot of times the hurt, not necessarily the truth thereof, because she already knew the truth. But a lot
You
of
know what
times, the fact that you told that lie, that's when the pistol came out.
Jabari
I
has
think I figured out.
Haran, Jabari has
Mhm.
to go. So Jabari, do you have anything else that you want to say? Andre, you're absolutely right. I love that you said that thing about peace because there's a myth that only men want peace. Trust me, women want peace, and we just want a space to love on a man and be good to a man and not be interrupted while we loving on that man. And
I like how
lying,
you put that. Not interrupted.
I don't want to be interrupted. Like, help me help you. I want to love you. I want to be good to you. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't do it, don't do any of that stuff because you're interrupting me, and then I'm gonna be mad. And then it's gonna be bad for everybody. Jabari, you have anything to say before you go?
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw a bomb before I leave this time. I'm gonna ease out peacefully. I will say this: a lot of times, depending on what you confess, it is for you, not for the other person.
True.
Confession, a lot of times, is about making you feel better, to allay your guilt, not to make the other person feel better. And I think that in any situation, you have to be cognizant of the fact that just because you say something and it allays your guilt, that doesn't mean that you're saying it for the benefit of the other person. Sometimes it's just you being selfish because you know that it's going to hurt that person. Sometimes something that a person never knows, like, so what you think somebody's sister or cousin is attractive or even more attractive. Sometimes the best thing to tell your woman is you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Because saying something else is, I mean, what end does it serve? That's my only position on things like that. Sometimes because nothing hurts like the truth. Nothing hurts like the truth, and people know people know. So I appreciate the conversation with everybody. Like I told Jen before we started, I have a crazy week this week. We're working on something huge in my company, so I appreciate everybody. And you guys, I mean, I love the different perspectives, man. You guys come with the stuff every time. So anyway, you brothers have a good one. Everybody, peace, love. I like Don Cornelius say soul. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, Jabari. Thank you.
All right, brother.
We need Chef up here more often too. All right, guys. So I am going to. That picture's hilarious. Like, I can't believe, and it's me, but sometimes I look at it and I'm like, it's weird. Gentlemen, I love you all. Thank you immensely. Please leave us with some good stuff. Does your lady resent you? How can you avoid it? Whatever you want to add before we close out. I love this conversation. I love kicking it with y'all. Chef, please come here more often so you could drop some goodies for us. So guys, who wants to go first? Let's close out because I felt like this conversation was important to have. I broke girl code tonight, but they'll get over it. They will get over it. But I just want to let the gentlemen know, sometimes y'all have a Jada in your house. You don't know it. So
Yeah.
what do you guys have?
I'll go first. Let me just go first as the long-winded guy.
All
I'm
right.
going to be the shortest.
All right.
Shortest possible.
Now, Chef, you
Does
got
your
to do the
lady
honors of
resent
just
you?
listen to class, man.
Right.
You got to dismiss the class. You got to be last.
Oh, there you go. See, okay, I'll let you. You know, you played to my ego, so go ahead, bro. You go
All
first.
right. Let me. I honestly, I do believe. Well, I suspect I know what Will's problem is at the end of the day, and to answer Juana's question, I think that Will is staying in this relationship, and all stems from. I've heard him speak a few times. I heard him speak with a marriage counselor, so on and so forth, or whatever. Especially when he was doing that special with that Fresh Prince special.
Mhm.
Anyway, at the root of it all, he was saying something to the effect of he's always been afraid of letting people down, letting his mom down. You know what I mean? Because his dad was vicious to his mother. He felt that he couldn't protect his mother as well as he should have. He has issues with women feeling disappointment in him. He overcompensates for a lot of these feelings by just being goofy, by always trying to make people laugh and making people like him, and people being at ease. So I think what's the biggest issue right now is that if he leaves Jada again, because he has a big issue with failure, as most men who are successful and most men who do have drive do, that if he leaves Jada, I think there's this contention where he has to concede to the fact that he failed marriage twice in his life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if I recall, the first woman he married, or did he just have a child with her? I'm not too sure. But anyway, you know what I mean? We'll
Yeah.
just say that he married her. So okay, so if he says like, okay, he failed marriage twice, and he failed marriage because he didn't live up to what the particular expectations that the woman he was with had of him, he's gonna feel like a failure. That's where all that Tupac shit hits hard, because it's like, yeah. You're subconsciously, that's gonna tug at his knee, at his feelings of feeling like a failure if your lady holds on to the heels of a dead dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's gonna gnaw at somebody. So I think that in some ways that I don't think Will is not trying to just save face just in front of everyone. I think he's trying to save face for himself. I think that's a degree of devastation he's going to have to wake up in the morning and look at in the mirror. Because let's be clear here. We can sit here and shoot the shit about what Will should do or shouldn't do. Let's be clear here. Will is worth over $250 million. Okay. He has his own production company and so on and so forth. If he chooses to disappear, he'll be fine. You know what I mean? He's not ruined. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, money cannot free you from your own insecurities. It doesn't remove the mirrors that you have to look into. At some point in time, Will is going to have to look into the mirror, and he's going to have to ask himself some serious questions about, okay, well, if I do leave this woman and the relationship is a failure, does it mean that I'm a failure? It's the reason why this guy loves doing big, huge blockbuster movies, and he wants the Oscar, and he wants the big this, he wants the grand shit, and he did this big, huge thing for his wife, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? There's a reason behind that, and I hope he can make peace with that, man. Because if he continues to go down that road, he's just gonna be vulnerable. He's gonna be able to be easily taken advantage of, and that's my whole take on the whole thing.
Thank you. Well, this is definitely a wake-up call for him, I'm sure. So I'm sure he's definitely reflecting right now. Andre, Tristan, y'all got anything?
Just real quick, like I said, that this is not just a Will Smith moment, but it's a moment for many of us that are couples, that whether you're a female and your spouse resents you for whatever it may be, whether it be they resent you for putting on extra weight, or they resent the fact that they think that you're still in love with your baby daddy, even though they've been a good stepdad, or whatever it may be. Or if you're a guy and you have a female that resents you because you don't hold the standards of what her father was or whatever it may be. The remaining part goes back to what my brother just said. We have to be brave enough to look in the mirror. And this is not just Will Smith looking in the mirror. This is many of us. He is just a byproduct of a society and of the society in which he lives in. And I hope that just as he gets help and he gets delivered and find his peace, I pray the same thing for all of us to find our peace. And if it's not with the person we're with, so be it. And find a way to eventually, I don't care if it's today or I don't care if it's 10 years from now, find how you can walk away from that in a peaceful way and still be allow that person to be who they need to be and you be who you need to be. Thank you, Jen. Great topic.
That's a good one. Tristan.
Everybody made amazing points, and I just think Will Smith showed the whole world can love you, but the one person you want to love you doesn't. You can easily break. Let's just pray for Will Smith. That's my point. That's it.
That's a good one. That's true. Chef Shapino. I think it's fair that it's your first time dropping some gems for us, so you can take us out.
So I could have been sitting here taking shots. Do I get angry after my 5th shot and I'm ready to do 18 shots? Do I get angry at the bartender that tells me they've been pouring shots of bleach? Think about it. And this is just to the conversation of the level of honesty with the flipped over table, with the flipped over plate talk. I just want to speak to that. Forget the feelings, forget the emotions, forget the what could possibly happen. We are getting truth. We are getting truth. I don't want to say truth is never favored, right? But watch this. Truth is always flavored. We are getting truth. We want to know the truth. Sometimes, Jack Nicholson voice, we can't handle the truth. And that's the key. I don't want to be in the dark. If that person that I might want to spend another 30, 40 years with tells me something, and I allow them a stage to tell me whatever the fuck they want to tell me, bruh, I drink that moment, because then I got truth and I allowed them to understand that I'm big enough to allow them to lay what it is out. But now the only difference is I don't break shit. I don't beat up shit. Now I have my choice to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say the shit that she may not like. She don't get to bleach and burn my J's and, bleach my luxury car and all of those things.
Right.
So the only thing that we're doing in them talks, remember, it doesn't mean that you don't get to walk away with your emotions or your feelings. You just get to walk away with your shit. And those scars and bruises. But you get to walk away with the truth. Please, y'all. A lot of truth come in, man. Even if you feel that you're going to scream and say something when she's telling you something, bite your tongue. Bite that shit. So you feel it when you're eating food 3 days ago. Bite it. Because that pain is okay. You are going to hear things that you would have never heard. And now you are that much wiser. It's not about just staying together. It's about understanding what's really going on. And that's all I got, yo.
Good point.
All right, that was a good pitch. I may listen. but I'm going to crazy glue the knife drawer just in case.
That's funny.
Okay, gentlemen, this was a pleasure per usual. Please come back and share your stories and experiences and all kinds of advice with us. I love it here. This has been On the Block with Jen. Have an amazing weekend. I may come back tomorrow with a sexy one and talk about freaks. Are you a freak or a fraud? I want the gentlemen to talk about, you know, what makes them freaky, and the ladies will decide whether or not you're a freak or a fraud. I may do that tomorrow. So check your
If
notifications.
Andre's not here tomorrow, I'll be disappointed in that man.
I got a lot to do tomorrow.
After that
But
Tampa Bay story, you have to be here.
Andre's a freaky. He's a freaky fraud.
So let's come back
oh
tomorrow.
yeah, I got some. Yeah.
Let's come back tomorrow because I want to test some, because everybody says they're free. And I'm gonna throw out different things of what you would or wouldn't do, and you let me know if you would or wouldn't do it. And you can share your stories. The men will divulge, the ladies will judge.
Have you ever? Okay, here we go. Per sip. Okay, make
Turn
sure
off my Wi-Fi right
This is being recorded. This is being recorded now. I don't know,
I
man.
will be in the chat. I'm not getting that one phone call tomorrow. I'm not putting myself through that. I'm not hearing that at all.
I might have to push my live stream back.
Hey guys, thank you so much, chat, for participating. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. The class is dismissed. And I'll see you tomorrow, perhaps. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, ma'am.
That's a good topic.
Good night, guys. Okay, that was another episode of On the Block with Jen. Do not forget, if you have a subject you want me to dissect with my wonderful panel, hit me on the block with Jen at Gmail or on the block with Jen on Instagram. This was another good one. If you like it, again, hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Check out my other streams. They're always really, really interesting. And come back tomorrow. I think I'll do a Freaky Friday for y'all. Okay? Come back. You'll see. All right, guys. Good night. Bye. Mama is out.